Show has started. Who else is getting the brand new M4 iPad Pro? Stop me,
Yeah,
I
I'm
know.
trying to get.
Man, but this new iPad Pro though, bruh. Just get a studio display with it and forget the iMac. Ugh.
Noticing.
I hope that at WWDC next month they finally introduce Mac OS for iPad. I hope. I don't think it's gonna happen, but whatever. Probably. Nope. But I'm usually unmuted when I started. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. I am your host, the dustiest of them all. I don't know if that's a good thing. But it is I, the Dusty Uno, but you can call me Dusty for short. Welcome back to another episode of G-Wave TV. We have two amazing guests for you tonight. We have two main topics, but we may discuss a few other things, like some Game Pass games that are coming pretty soon. And but we're definitely going to be talking about some X-Men 97 tonight. We're going to save that for later. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you leave, because I'm going to go all up in that mug. And if you're a part of the panel and you haven't seen it, I apologize. But spoiler warning. But we're definitely going to start off with some gaming news. We're going to talk about, in my opinion, the big news of the week so far, but not just because it's big news for, the industry or the gaming community, if you will, but kind of big news for some ponies out there. So we have one special guest tonight who's got some 2 cents to drop on y'all. So I hope y'all are ready for that one. So without further ado, let's get into it. Yeah, how's everybody doing tonight? Let me introduce first to my on the stream, my left, right? I don't know what it looks like to people, but Mr. Daniel McG. Mr. Daniel. Welcome, Daniel. Let everybody know where you're from, how long you've been into gaming, and what you are currently playing right now at the moment.
Well, I think at the moment I'm at 76, so I just finished all of the content currently available in that one. My computer is doing something crazy right now.
Yeah, you kind of lagged for a second, but you said Fallout 76,
there
right?
There we go. Sorry, my second monitor just like turned off and then moved everything over here and then moved back. I don't know what's happening.
You're getting a graphics driver update.
Something's
That's what
happening.
That is.
See, this is why I can't do PC gaming. No, but it's just finished Fallout 76. Just did like the last little bit of content, the Atlantic City stuff.
Nice.
It's still, in my opinion, probably the worst Fallout game, but it's still pretty fun. Like everything up until the Brotherhood of Steel updates, because I played everything in order, was pretty awful, actually. But as soon as you get to, I guess the Wastelander stuff is okay, and then Steel Rain and Steel Dawn, whichever order those two were in, are genuinely really, really good. Like everything from that point on just feels like it would be the DLC for a regular Fallout game, and so all of that was good. But yeah, I it's one of those games where I don't think I can recommend it because it takes so long to get to the point where you're doing the actual fun stuff. And then now that I've finished that stuff, I'm like, I don't really want to do, like, I don't want to do the grind. Like, I don't want to do the daily stuff or any of that. So I'm just kind of, I guess, you're kind of done.
So essentially what you're saying is, and Nero's gonna like this, you just want to go back to Starfield.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, as soon as that Shattered Space comes out, I'm in on that, no problem.
Oh, so you're gonna wait? You're gonna wait till the DLC? You're not gonna try the recent update?
I think so. Yeah, I think I'll just do both at the same time, because otherwise I'm gonna end up doing like 2 full playthroughs, and that's gonna be like 200 hours. I ain't got that time. Yeah,
somebody else said that on Twitter today as well too, that they were gonna wait for the DLC to do both because there's just way too many games that they're backlogged on. To be honest with you, a game for me that I need to return to is Evil West. I need to return to that game, and I haven't. I feel like I didn't do much of it, but I still did enough where I was like, "This is a really good game. I need to play more of this."
Am I thinking of Evil West or Weird West? One's an action game and one's like a top-down isometric thing.
Evil West, the like vampiric, hellish God of War type game for Xbox.
The better God of War.
Ooh, slander. We're starting early with the slander.
Gotcha,
I like it.
I'm just saying. Hey, personally, that's just me. I can't speak for the whole panel, but personally, I had way more of an enjoyable experience with Evil West than I did with God of War 2018. That's just me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I haven't done Evil West yet, but I think it's still on Game Pass, so maybe I'll give it a shot. I am looking for whatever my next thing's going to be, and it's got to be pretty short because I'm heading out of town a week from right now. Actually, my plane leaves at 9 p.m. my time, so basically a week right now I'll be heading off to Italy. So
I need to go back to Prince of Persia, the
new one, The Lost Crown.
It's just a great game.
Yeah.
I was having a lot of fun with that one. Now, let me go forward with my second introduction, if you will, my second edification for the evening. Without further ado, coming all the way from the East Coast, first time guest on this show. This man has a great mind, I feel like, about gaming, and you might have heard me say that about few different people in the past. The thing is, the words that I use, they carry weight. If I call somebody a great mind in something that I partake in, a certain industry, I mean it. It's somebody that I listen to, somebody I want to continue to listen to, and somebody that I would like to share opinions with and, bounce ideas off of, because I feel like, after listening to them, I can trust where their mind goes in the realm of whatever it is that we partake in. This one being gaming. With that being said, after hearing this gentleman for the first time, I really dug his style, his vibe, and at the same time, his mind for gaming, as well as his mind for being Team Green up in this. Are we enough time in this bitch? Okay, so
yes sir.
Thank you, YouTube. So, without further ado, first time guest, please everybody welcome in Next Gen Nero. Woo! Woo! I need a soundboard I need all of that stuff.
Hey man, it's an honor to be here, brother. I love returning the favor. I look at you like a genuine brother, like a friend. So
Thank you.
I couldn't make it last week, but this week I made it my duty. Like I told myself the entire day, hey, I'm making it the Uno podcast tonight. I don't give a damn how I get there, but I'm gonna be there, man. So yes, sir. Pleasure.
So if anybody follows this man's Twitter or X, they know the answer to what I'm about to ask. But sir, Mr. Nero, sir, what game are you currently playing right now?
I just been playing a couple first party bangers from Microsoft, a couple Microsoft owned IPs. We got Diablo season 4 of that. I've been having a blast, man. Really good changes that Blizzard has done this season. I'm really enjoying it. I like the blood tides this season. I just been leveling up. I believe I'm level 41. Nice. And the season just dropped yesterday. And I just made a new character today because I'm so indecisive when it comes to these type of games. And I made, I think, level 20 something, almost 30 with a new character in one day. So my goal this season is to hit level 100. No season I've been able to do it. I kind of lose the will to play,
I feel that.
Around level 50, 60, I kind of get burnt out. But this season, I don't know. This season feeling a little different. And I was there day one on Diablo. So, it's a way better game now than what it was then. And back then, it was already a great game. Back when it launched, it was already arguably better than anything Sony owns. You know what I'm saying? So, a year later, it's still banging. And then, I got the game of the generation. Something they said couldn't be done. 60 frames per second on the Series X with Starfield. Runs beautifully. Rumors actually has it if you uncap the frame rate in performance mode with the VR display is running over 100 frames. I just find it funny that Digital Foundry didn't touch on that, but other channels is touching on it, the non-biased one. So
it's
man. I just been
No, you're good. I was just gonna, because you brought that up, I was just gonna say, sorry to cut you off. I was just gonna comment that it's interesting how some of these, what do you call them, publications or whatever, YouTube publications, if you will, seem to skip over certain facts, and it's almost like that they know that they're doing that, but the majority of people might not call them out on it, so they just kind of keep doing it until enough people do call them out, and then they'll retract a little bit, clean it up, and then once in a blue moon they do it again, and it's what is happening here? Unless they just genuinely miss that, then yo, put up another video. But I don't know. Sometimes
Yeah.
Digital Foundry just really confuses me sometimes.
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah,
the one good thing to come out of the Elon Musk era of Twitter or Twixter or whatever is just the frequency at which like IGN posts have the community note underneath of like,
Yes,
actually
man. I love
none of
that,
that's
man.
real.
Shout out to Elon. Yes, man. I absolutely love
That's
that.
like the one good thing. Everything else about his
One good
takeover is
thing.
not great, but
Right.
you know we'll take this one win, this one silver lining.
Yeah, you gotta take what you can get nowadays, man. You know,
Honestly,
Yeah, no, I
kind of
agree.
like ponies is taking what they can get on PlayStation. You know, Sea of Thieves, top charts,
yeah.
Pentiment, top charts. You just gotta take what's there. You know.
So,
Ah.
so with that being said, let's transition or segue into our first topic of the evening, because we know where this is gonna go in a second.
Imagine Pentiment being a best-selling.
Oh god,
Imagine Pentiment being your best-selling game over there, bro. I'm sorry, that's hilarious, man. Like,
man, but shout out to
that is
Pentiment. You know what I'm
insane.
saying?
Shout out to Pentiment though, man. Masterpiece, man. Like everything that comes from Microsoft just be the banger. You know, even if it's not for me, it's for them because they buying that shit up. That's why Phil put it over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, buy it up, man. Support the devs.
Man, yeah. So, but what devs are they supporting though? Let's be honest, because in recent news.
Hey, don't get me started. Hey,
in recent news, for the first topic of the evening, Square Enix has come out of the woodwork, has come out of their cage, if you will, and has decided no more will they ever be. Ooh, I'm peeking a little bit. Will they ever be exclusive to Sony PlayStation ever again? They have decided that it is time, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that Square Enix games, Final Fantasy games, this is an omen.
Bless you.
Hashtag 2 times. This is an historic moment.
Look at the ghost of Jim Ryan sprinkling little peppers in the air around Uno just to get Dusty to sneeze, man. So like, grow up, Jim. Like,
man, that's how you know the seasoning is good on this one.
You know,
Square Enix has decided to go multi-platform because enough is enough. They have decided that Sony PlayStation sales are not enough to sustain themselves, that their sales are not enough for the bigwigs over at Square Enix, which us as a fan base have been trying to tell their asses for years. Let's be completely honest. Years. So what does this mean? That all Square Enix games are coming to Nintendo, PC, and Xbox? No, maybe not necessarily. But what I can say for sure, if we're being Team Green,
I think so. Them motherfuckers can't afford to not have their games anywhere. I'm sorry. Like, I've seen that financial report.
But what I can say for sure, being Team Green, we are going to be eaten very well if you are a Final Fantasy fan. If you are a Square Enix fan in general, we are going to be eating very well very soon via very Game Pass. Now, with that little introduction being said, I shall turn it over to none other than Mr. ADS himself, Next Gen Nero, because he's got a few words for a certain fan base out there. Now, before I hand the mic over, so to speak, and we do have a super chat. Thank you so much, Signa Prime, for the $10 super chat. Signa Prime says, IGN is trash. X-Men episode 10 was fire. You know what? You're absolutely right. That was probably cringe the way I said it, but I'm going to go with it. You're absolutely right. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Much love and respect to you. X-Men 97, we're going to get into that a little bit later. Absolute fire. Best piece of Marvel content in God knows how long. Because to be honest with you, I think it might be better than, Endgame. And that's a lot for me to say. Anyway, yeah, I'm going there because where this story is going, woohoo. Anyway, pulling back, IGN is trash. Please do not subscribe to them. And can we please stop watching gaming events through them?
I agree.
Or just go to the source. Thank you.
Definitely.
Now, as getting back to the point,
Did they do something specifically about X-Men or?
Did you watch the finale?
No, I haven't.
Ooh.
I actually haven't started it yet, but
When
it's
we
fine.
get to-
I don't care about spoilers at all. So
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I
So-
haven't started the show either.
Oh God, both of you
Yeah.
shouldn't be here when I get to X-Men
Yeah.
97.
don't worry about it.
It's gonna be spoiler heavy. When I'm not gonna lie to you. So,
Did IGN
yeah.
hate it or something? They review it bad?
no.
Nah, we just hate
it's-
IGN.
Oh, the
all
two things
homies
are
say.
separate. They're just
No,
next
the
to
two
each
things.
other.
The two things
Okay,
are
it's
definitely
okay.
separate.
You know, it's just
So
fuck IGN.
IGN is trash. X-Men 97 is amazing, and episode 10 definitely was fire. If you haven't watched it yet, watch it. I can't. It's not one of those things where I can say you're missing out. I will say this though: if you skip the goddamn intro on every episode when you binge this, you are missing out, because every intro is literally designed different per episode. But even if it wasn't, it's the freaking theme song. So what is wrong with you if you're skipping it? All right, moving back, getting back to the point. Let me pass the mic over to Nero, sir. Now, like I said before I do so, there have been a lot of hooved ones, as a good friend in the community likes to say. I believe he goes by the name of Infinite Umbra. But
guy.
yes, but the hooved ones, the ponies, if you will, apparently got a really fat wedgie from all of this, because they were just all up in their feels. It felt like voices were at such a high pitch, it was kind of hard to hear them over the screeching of their pain. So I invited you hashtag 2 tears. Hashtag pony 2 tears. But I invited Nero on because he felt like he had something to say. And I absolutely love it when Nero goes off. So please, sir, without further ado, the floor is all yours.
All right, this thing working. All right, look, listen. You silly, stupid. Can we curse? We can curse. We passed that mark.
Yeah, we're good.
You stupid,
Yeah, we're good.
silly. Are we good?
We're good.
Hey, you stupid, silly sons of bitches. You dumb motherfuckers. What did we tell y'all, man? If you think that anybody can afford to keep putting their fucking games only on PlayStation, home of the gamers that talk about games but don't buy and support them motherfuckers, they started to support the devs movement, right? Nobody else started that shit. You know, as a consumer, I'm gonna support my interests. I'm gonna buy a game on sale if that's what my paycheck and budget allows for this month. It was the ponies who made it $70 is okay. You motherfuckers is broke. Game Pass for welfare pass, you know, this, that, and the third. Just to turn around, right? And before I get on Square Enix, let me just get on Sony to start first. Cause they information just came out. I don't know if you've seen it, Dusty, but they saying that they're moving away from game sales and they want to focus more on the time spent in the game. Who does that sound like? Doesn't that sound exactly like what Xbox is doing? You know,
Yeah,
Xbox
I saw that.
is leading the way, innovating once again. Look, me personally, I'm sorry, I don't really give a fuck about Final Fantasy. Now, I enjoyed Final Fantasy VII Remake on my PS4 before the disc just stopped working out of the blue. That was strike one right there. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I'm more of a Western RPG type of guy. You feel what I'm saying? But I do respect Final Fantasy and what it is. But what I don't respect is that you saying fuck other fan bases just to go into cahoots with Sony, only to realize now that that business plan that you had with Sony is not working. Like, I'm just so happy people is realizing that Sony fans do not buy games. They don't. They brag about having 60 million consoles sold, but then they run around and jump off of buildings to celebrate 2 million copies of a game being sold over there. Like, what the fuck? You got 60 million units out. I'm just saying that Nintendo, they drop a new Mario or new Zelda, that motherfucker selling 10 million day one. You get what I'm saying? Microsoft then moved away from game sales. That's why we got Game Pass. You feel what I'm saying? They say, yo, we not about to keep trying to compete with Nintendo. We need to make our own lane. They're smart. If you notice, the big three all got their own lane. You got Microsoft over here, focusing on, how to get game revenue other than selling copies of games and selling hardware, which they have been successful, having record-breaking profits while console sales is being down. You got Nintendo. Nintendo is fucking Nintendo, right? Anything they drop, their fans is gonna go buy it. Them is the real buyers over there. Them the real support the devs. Then you got Sony over here. Sony is in like a limbo, right? And this is why I don't understand why people can dick ride them and just be a fanboy of them. They have no identity. Back in the day, during the PS2, the PS3, even you can argue the PS4, you know, they had the walking simulators. They had an identity. The identity of the PlayStation this generation is fucking remakes and remasters of the last identity of the PS4. Like, bro, that shit not cool. They have no direction. Now they moving away from game sales that people been bragging about to how much time is spent in the game. They keep following what Microsoft is doing. So I can't wait to play Days Gone on my Xbox Series X, the definitive version. I can't wait to play Last of Us, because if you think that Sony is gonna sit back and watch games like Pentiment, Sea of Thieves, you know, the same games that the entire fan base been calling trash because it wasn't over there, and then as soon as the games come over there, they selling in your top charts, right? So if you think Sony can just sit back and watch Microsoft do that and not be like, yo, we got to get in on this, even if it's something small like, you know, Returnal or Ratchet and Clank, like eventually Sony is going to have to get in on this. They can't sit back and just let Xbox just run to the bank because they're ahead of the curve. So as you can see, they're trying to get in more with the day and date PC, which I think they need to do that. I don't understand why they haven't already confirmed that. So Square Enix got what they deserve. I'm sorry, I don't feel bad for them. I don't give a fuck about Final Fantasy. I'm not going to support that shit for full price. I did buy Crisis Core, made it to the end, and then when I went to fight the final boss, realized I was underpowered, and they want me to do a bunch of fucking miscellaneous ass dumbass missions just to power up. That's dumb as fuck. I'm not doing that. I hate when games do that. Like, don't let me make it to the end just to be like, hey, this not the end. You need to go spend another 10 hours just doing dumb shit just to be strong enough to fight. Like, I'm good on that. I'm sure it's a good game. It's a good franchise. You know, I just rather have Elder Scrolls and Starfield and Dragon's Dogma. Like, that's my personal RPG taste.
I feel that.
But
I feel that.
fuck Square Enix. I'm sorry. I don't feel bad for them, man. I don't feel bad. I really wish that it was worse. I'm sorry. I really wish them motherfuckers was going bankrupt. I really wish them motherfuckers was closing, because we need a real example. We need a real example to be made out of these days. Like, I'm so tired of people trying to skip Xbox. Like, okay, it's 60 million PlayStations, but only about 20 million of them motherfuckers is being turned on every single day. It's about 30 million Series X's, so probably under around 28, 27. But at least 25 million of them motherfuckers. Like, every day people is cutting their Xboxes on. Every day PlayStation is not having their shit turned on like that. So what's the point about bragging about all these consoles so when most of them motherfuckers is only used for Fortnite, 2K, Apex? You know what I'm saying? The same shit you can play on fucking Xbox. So like what are we doing here? I don't feel bad for Square Enix. They got what the fuck they deserve, man.
2 cents dropped. Awesome. And the thing is, what was the point? Or there was something you said. Oh, that's what it was. You said you weren't sure why they haven't announced PC day and date yet, and I think it's because they want to test Ghost of Tsushima, this PC client, you know, thing that they're introducing, like a almost like a like how Xbox has Game Bar on PC, like Ghost of Tsushima is supposed to have this kind of, I don't know if it's a separate application like Game Bar, but more similar to like how Steam does it, where it's like an in-game PlayStation overlay and whatnot, and you connect to your account, friends, all of that stuff, achievements and everything. But that's only via in-game of GOT. So with that being said, you know, I think maybe they're waiting for that game to drop to test how this goes, and then they'll see, you know, they'll do whatever it is that they do over there and go forward. You know, what they should do is drop a PlayStation Game Bar for PC, just like Xbox does. Like, I've been wanting this for years. I haven't really spoken out about it, but it's just something I've always wanted, because it you know, once you start bringing games to PC, it's like, why not? And this was an idea that they had, you know, once they started kind of doing a little bit more with PS Now, the previous cloud version of PlayStation Plus for PC. So but yeah. And then what was the other thing that you said? I can't remember. While I
I'm
try to
sorry,
think
man.
about it.
Sometimes I ramble a bit, man.
No. I completely wanted that. And you absolutely, gave the 2 cents that I knew that you would. F these ponies. But anyway, Daniel McGee, sir.
Yeah.
2 questions. First, how do you feel about this Square Enix news? How does it affect you? I suppose. And 2, the the outcry of the blue side, if you or the small subset of the blue side, did you notice it at all, and what was your opinion of said Twitter rioting and outrage?
To be honest, to talk on the Twitter outrage side of it first, I the last couple weeks have just like not really been on Twitter at all, so I really haven't seen anything. Like
You're
I've
not
just
missing much.
I'm sure I'm not. Like I'm not sure exactly what they're complaining about. I guess they're probably like, uh, if I had to guess, it's probably the same complaint it's always been, which is like, oh, those kinds of games never do good on Xbox. Why would you bother porting it over to a dying
Mm-hmm.
console? And it's like, okay, well, neither of those things are true. And also, even if the first one was true, like even if Final Fantasy games didn't sell on Xbox, which is objectively not true, every time one
They're
comes
not
over,
selling over
it
there
does sell.
either, though.
Yeah, clearly
They're
it's not selling well enough on
selling
PlayStation
over there.
already. And then it's like also, how are you expecting to build up a fan base in this platform if you never port anything over to this platform? Like, I don't know. It's very confusing to me, where it's like, imagine if you just dropped, like, if no other Final Fantasy games had ever been on Xbox, and then you just dropped like 13, right? Which is basically what they've done recently, because the only Final Fantasy game that they've ported over recently have been was it Origins, the like Final Fantasy 1 remake type thing, where it was all chaos, and that one was ass. And then Crisis Core, which is also ass. So like 2 of the worst Final Fantasy
so it's not
games.
just me. It's not just
Crisis
me.
Core. No, Crisis Core is genuinely
ass.
bad, and it's always been bad.
Thank you.
Yeah, even like the PSP version of it, ass.
Okay.
Right. Like the only reason that Crisis Core might not be the worst Final Fantasy game is because 13 exists. But that's even that's like a matter of taste, because 13 is bad because it's really convoluted and annoying, and Crisis Core is annoying because the UI is garbage, and you've got that lady like always talking to you, where it's like the roulette thing. I don't know if they do that in the remake. I didn't bother to play the remake because the original version is so awful.
Yo, Daniel, the fact that they make you have to go do those miscellaneous dumbass missions. It's not even missions. It's just you load into somewhere, you fight a bunch of enemies. Like, come on, bro. I'm literally at the end of Crisis Core. I might install it because, like I said, I own it just to beat it and get it out the way. But it's like, what the fuck are we doing here, bro? That game design is so outdated, bro.
It's really bad, and I think part of that is because it was a PSP game, and so it was limited in that way, and then they just ported it rough straight over. But also, I think it's really a weird choice to be like the only one of the Final Fantasy VIIs that they've brought over to Xbox, because it's like, it's sort of, it's technically a prequel, but it's a prequel that's all about Zack, who's a character who doesn't matter. Like, Final Fantasy fans will try and pretend that he matters, but he doesn't. Really, really, truthfully does not. In the original game, he has like 3 lines that are about him, and people are like, oh my god, it's the most amazing thing in the world. It's not. He's not a character. He doesn't matter. But yeah, Final Fantasy is crazy. It's, in terms of them bringing the games over to Xbox, I think it's a really good idea. Honestly, I think
I agree.
I don't necessarily think that exclusivity in and of itself is a bad idea for third-party things. The problem that I see with it is, like, clearly they weren't getting enough money out of PlayStation for the deal. And I don't know if that's because they were expecting PlayStation fans to buy more, but you would think after like the first or the second or the third that they would have realized sort of what amount of sales they could expect from that fan base, and then adjust accordingly. Because clearly, obviously PlayStation paying them a ton of money to make you exclusive. They're not just doing that like for fun. But clearly the amount of money that they're getting for that wasn't enough, because they're having to do all of these layoffs and, cancel. I think they've canceled like 4 or 5 projects at this point. Like they're doing a lot of really big restructuring, and it's because they're just not making enough money. And so it's very confusing to me as to why they continued to do it for so many years. Maybe those contracts were written in stone already, but I expect, honestly, I really expect those games to come over to Xbox and PC or wherever they aren't right now.
Yeah.
And probably in some of those places do better than they're doing on PlayStation. Like any of the ones that are on PlayStation but not on Switch, I guarantee they sell better in Japan on Switch than they did on PlayStation. Like 100%. No doubt in my mind.
Some idiots about the outrage, they can't help but to come at Nero, but I don't back down from these idiots, because it's like, I don't respect a lot of these dudes as gamers. so I don't respect your take, right? You know, these the same people that brag about Final Fantasy and God of War and Horizon Forgettable West, and then when you
Forgettable.
go to they when you go to their media on their page, they don't have one clip of no game. So it's like, you love this game so much to come tweet in my mentions, but you don't love it enough to clip it and post a clip of it.
Yeah,
Fair.
like
Like,
show
you
us
know,
your
I'm not
gameplay. Yeah,
you feel me? Before I go argue about somebody on somebody tweet, somebody say Starfield is ass. Before I go and they mentions and argue with them, I'm gonna post from the perspective of why I don't think the game is ass. What up, Umber? What up, Fark you? What up, Yobi? Got some
what's
great
up,
people in here,
Umbra?
man.
What's up, GTP?
Um,
Hey
Yeah.
man.
yeah, but that's one thing I never did on Twitter, right? Like, if as much as I think God of War is mid and Horizon is really forgettable and a snooze fest, if somebody posts a clip of the game, I never would go comment, just hate, like just negative shit. Like, if I see somebody enjoying the game, I'm not gonna do like that. To me, is the ultimate weird shit, and that's how you get an easy block off rip. But
Yeah,
I say that to say this. I was like, I basically made a little meme. I took it just Final Fantasy 7. Got the Xbox Game Pass logo, put it over the 7 screenshot, and was like, all Final Fantasies coming to Game Pass. And these motherfuckers was human, man. Even some mutual people that try to play it like we cool and shit, they secretly felt some type of way. And I was just like, they're like, how is that gonna improve profits? And I'm like, y'all motherfuckers is still stupid as shit, because your game dropping and releasing, sales is not guaranteed. Your game is not guaranteed to sell well. No matter how big you think the IP is, how big you think, it's not guaranteed to sell well. What is guaranteed is you getting a check from Xbox and Microsoft if you put your game in Game Pass. So off rip, you already getting some type of profit just from going in the Game Pass, right? Now, it's like I said, it's not no guarantee that your games is gonna sell, and Square Enix financial report is just proof of that. You know, like the games, all the games is selling less than what they should. You know, people talk about Starfield being 30 frames, but Final Fantasy 16 was literally unplayable in the performance mode day one on the PS5. It was a fucking blurry, soupy ass mess. You get what I'm saying? It was blurry as fuck. Everybody played in the quality mode. And what is Final Fantasy 16 doing that's pushing gaming forward? The reason it should be that fucking blurry to begin with. Not a damn thing. I'm sorry. Same shit with Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, remake. It's not doing anything groundbreaking. Starfield, on the other hand, people can hate on that game all they want. You can say it's not for you, cool, bro. But that game is doing so many things underneath the hood that it's insane. You can go to a planet on the edge of the universe, all the way on the edge of the galaxy, as far as you can go away, drop 1,000 potatoes in that motherfucker, and go play the game for 60, 70 hours and forget that you even visited that planet or that room. And you can go back there 100 hours later and everything you dropped in that room is still going to be there. That's some fucking technical, impressive shit going on under there. And it's the same way I felt about Skyrim when that dropped. Like, that's really some impressive technical shit. You know, people hate the creation engine and shit like that, but Starfield visually and graphically look miles better than, in my opinion, this is me. You know what I'm saying? I don't want Uno, Dusty. I don't want them coming at y'all. You know, it's gonna be some ponies that clip this. Fuck you, clip it, bitch. But
please
Starfield
give me more,
is
some more
better than every
subscribers.
fucking exactly. Let them hear a real gamer talk. You know what I'm saying? Starfield is better than every fucking Final Fantasy out. I'm sorry, I don't care, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, they talk about JRPGs. Why am I not playing a Japanese person then? I'm sorry, that's my problem with JRPGs. Every time I play a JRPG, I'm always playing some fucking white, blonde hair, blue eye motherfucker that look like he can be from fucking Ohio or fucking North Dakota. I'm like what the fuck? Where is the Japanese people being represented at? It's a fucking JRPG. Where is the Japanese people at? I like Japanese culture.
Yeah,
I love samurais. You know what I'm saying?
That's
I
what
love
I'm
all
here
that
for.
shit.
Yeah,
that's what I'm here for. I'm here for that shit. If I want to play a motherfucker, if I want to play that shit, I just go play a fucking Bethesda game and create a white guy with blonde hair and blue eyes. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my problem with JRPGs, man. You know what I'm saying? Then they throw the big titties out there on all the female characters, so that get all the simps. You know what I'm saying? It don't take much to get the simps. You know what I'm saying?
That part is fine.
I'm not complaining.
Hey,
Island Doge. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the one thing they get right. But I do think that's corny. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I'd be like, man, where is the Japanese culture really being shown at? Like, all these Japanese devs, but it's like, I don't ever see them being represented well in games. And I'm just like, to me, it never made sense. Because it's
But
like
there's
most JRPG games I play is like that, bro. It's either a white like trying to look like he's edgy type guy or girl. Like they try to look like they so edgy and just so different. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, y'all regular as fuck, bro. Like, what is this shit, man? It's a bunch of filler shit. Like, I'm sorry, I got beef with the JRPG community because them motherfuckers act. First of all, you guys, that y'all genre is not fucking with none of Bethesda Game Studios RPGs, bro. I ain't even gonna bring up The Witcher. I ain't gonna bring up Cyberpunk. I ain't gonna bring up all these Mass Effect, all these god tier Western RPGs, right? I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna just leave it with Bethesda. Let's just talk about Xbox. Let's keep it there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry, bro, but and then it's like, how is that shit like? What how is it role playing though? Like, that's what I be confused about, right? And I don't mean to go on a rant, but
no, you're good.
To me, it's a difference between a set RPG and an open RPG. And if we be honest, Bethesda is the last breed of true open RPGs, meaning you can literally create whoever the fuck you want and go be whatever the fuck you want, however you choose to be.
Where does GTA Online fall in that?
Shit, I'd say that's more of a fucking RPG than goddamn them Final Fantasy games. Because, like I said, that Bethesda games like Starfield, Skyrim, Fallout, them is what I consider open RPGs. Now, some of the great set RPGs, right, is The Witcher and Cyberpunk. Like, yes, you are set into the role of Geralt. You are set into the role of V. But you can still role play how you want Geralt to be and how you want V to be. You can be an evil V. You can be a dickhead Geralt, or you can be a compassionate Geralt. You can be different types of Witcher. In Final Fantasy, you're just fucking the guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Final Fantasy 16. Like, what is RPG-ish about that? Like, I don't get it. Like, is it cool skill tree? Like, I just don't. I'm sorry. Like, I don't get the hype behind their games, man. And a lot of people don't get the hype. That's why them games is not selling as well as people think it is. I'm sorry. Like, you know, you got 16 games into a franchise and motherfuckers want to cap for that, but y'all want to turn around and talk shit about Gears. And we only 6 games into Gears. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we only 6-7 games into Halo.
Gears collection.
Hey, we need that, man. Please announce that at the showcase.
Man. Yeah. Please do that. To be honest with you, I think it will be announced at the showcase.
Yeah, there's been some rumors that make that seem like it's a pretty good possibility. I know friend of mine, friend of the community, Boom, has been sort of beating that drum for a while. So
if there is one thing that I would love for them to be like, oh, and one more thing, it would be a Gears collection this year. That would be
I was gonna say this year.
Yeah,
we need that shit this year too.
I don't even know if that would be like a one more thing sort of thing though. I think that would probably be like, I think they'll probably show, either they'll show off the Marcus Phoenix collection first, and then they'll be like, but wait, there's more, and then they'll show off 6, or they'll show off 6 and they'll have a date that's like a couple years out, and they'll be like, but while you wait, here's this thing. You know, I see that being like more, I don't know, Gear 6 should be the last thing, but I just don't think the Marcus Phoenix collection is like end the show, you know, send off the fireworks. I'd be excited for it.
Maybe in my mind,
I'm kind of worried
maybe
about
in my mind
Gear
I was
6.
putting the two together. You're right.
Yeah.
Do the collection first or earlier in the show, if not first.
I mean,
save that for the end or something.
The collection coming before Gear 6 just makes sense as a whole in the show, and just like in general it coming, because it's like, what better way to test and iron out all the kinks of UE5 than to make the Gears collection? You already got the story there, you got the voice, the sound, everything is done. It's literally just porting the game over to UE5 and updating the graphic fidelity and the performance and everything like that. So, I mean, it's a reason why Epic, the creators of UE, goes to the Coalition. You know, they went to them for that Metro. Not the Metro. What's the fucking demo they did, man? The Matrix. Right? Yeah. It's a reason why they are so out. You know, when it comes to UE5, the best UE5 games is about to be coming from Xbox. Sorry, not sorry. Avowed, Hellblade 2. You know, what else? It's some other UE5 games that's first party game. I think Replace, that indie game, might be UE5. I might be wrong on that, so don't quote me, guys. But it's gonna come down to Xbox showing off with that, and Outer Worlds 2 is in UE5 as well. So you know, I'm very intrigued because UE5 for me has been like very disappointing. Truth be told, like it's you know it hasn't been it's been like over bragged about, and that's kind of why I got frustrated when I seen like certain studios abandoning their engine, like the Red engine from CD Projekt Red is being left behind for UE5, right? 343 they leaving behind the slip space engine for UE5. So, but I mean, it's a reason they doing this. They know something we don't. But like I said, this is really gonna next Tuesday, this upcoming Tuesday, we're really gonna see what UE5 is capable with Hellblade. So I'm really excited for that.
So one thing I do want to say about the Final Fantasy Square Enix news is for somebody like me who paid attention to when Final Fantasy VII was supposed to come to Xbox, knew that we had a deal, knew that Sony blocked that deal, and has been blocking it ever since. For someone
Same thing
like
with
me,
Stellar Blade.
yeah, but for someone like me, like this is a day one for me once they announce that, you know, it's coming to Xbox, because I've wanted this for years, and I was just so pissed when I found out how Sony got in the way of it, and just that, you know, Xbox couldn't do jack crap about it. So for me, it's like I might be a small minority when it comes to excitement for this, but it's not even just excitement. It's just finally, it's time for me as a gamer, for myself, for my backlog.
For sure.
You know, who knows when I'll get to it? I don't care. But to finally have it on the platform where I should have had it years ago, fuck you, Sony. Straight
and
up.
as a gamer, I'm not gonna tell you you're wrong either. As a gamer, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh no, you shouldn't play that or be excited. No, fuck no, you should be excited.
Yeah.
You should definitely be excited. You should definitely support it and stuff like that. I'm just saying, like me personally, I will play the shit. I'm not gonna lie. Like I might talk all this shit, y'all, but I'm a gamer before anything. Like I'm a gamer more than anything. So I will play Final Fantasy 16. I will enjoy it. I will talk shit. I will play Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth and Remake. I will enjoy it. I will talk shit. But my whole thing is like Square Enix, you guys treat us like second-class citizens, right? What's the one game that came to Xbox? The first version of the game was on Xbox, wasn't on PlayStation, and then they put the sequel on PlayStation.
Octopath.
Octopath. You know, it's like you treat us like second-class citizens. So when your games do come over to Xbox, I'm gonna treat you and your entire company like a second-class citizen. I will buy your games, but not full price.
Yeah,
you don't deserve the $60-$70 for bringing your game. You porting your game over years and years late.
I'm going to cdkeys.com.
Exactly, as any smart person should do. You feel me? So
that's what
better put them in Game Pass or something.
That was actually, thank you for bringing that up or reminding me of something. When it comes to Ghosts of Tsushima and this whole debacle with Helldivers 2 and how the game is still cut off, and like yeah, they fixed the PSN issue, but the game is still cut off in what, all of those countries or whatever, or a lot of the countries still. And then Ghost of Tsushima even has restrictions. Like, I am not paying full price. I was going to pay full price because of the devs and the beautiful work they did on that game, but then Sony just had to go and do one more stupid freaking thing, and here we are. And now I'm back to where I've always been, where I don't buy their tech and I barely buy their games. I barely use their cloud service, but I did it because I was testing cloud. So that's why I had it. You know, like, if anybody knows me as a cloud gamer, I've tested all the platforms, and or at least I try to, as many of them as I can, because I love and am intrigued by cloud gaming. But the fact of the matter is, I had to test PS Now. I wanted to rip my hair out, and it is what it is.
That's kind of my experience too.
Yeah, 2 chains, right? So
I tried really hard to play. I think it was one of the original God of Wars. I forget which one I was trying to play through PS Now over at a friend's place, because he didn't have the disc anymore, which, you know, support physical media. So we streamed it through PS Now, and it just, you couldn't get anything done. Like,
now
the delay on that was rough.
Now granted, where PS Plus for PC app is now from where PS Now used to be, Yes, there have been a lot of improvements. Yes, you
good.
do get a clean 1080p 60 frames per second stream. And if you're using it on a PC that can take advantage of your graphics driver, it makes the picture even more beautiful. I will admit that because I tested it. There have been substantial updates. However, the UI is still shitty as all freaking high heaven. And I'm just like, it's GeForce Now. I've been asking for them to update the UI, but I would prefer their UI over PS Plus PC UI any day of the week, because at least with like xCloud, like in browser or whatever, the experience feels like you're on a console made for the cloud. When you're using PS Plus for PC app, formerly known as PS Now, it just feels like the first generation of Netflix. This is the most basic thing ever, and nothing's really organized the way it should be for you. And the UI is not clean. There's nothing modern about it. There's really no directional path. It's just a bunch of scrolling and side scrolling and down scrolling and up. Blah. I hate it. So now, with all of that being said, I am excited for this, and it's about freaking time. Final Fantasy 14 online, or whatever it is, I do want to jump into that. Now, Nero, does that qualify as a reputable MMORPG to you?
Um, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I'm super like heavily invested in the MMOs. Like I tried the
But as
Elder
far as the
Scrolls Online.
RPG side goes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I'm not like too familiar and like invested in it, but I do have friends that has been trying to get me to play it since it came to Xbox, but I'm just like, eh, I kind of shrug it off. I'm just like, if you can't get me on Elder Scrolls Online, I'm definitely not getting on that shit. Respectfully.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I'm ready for. I mean, I know it's not going to happen probably for a long time. Who
Mm.
knows? I mean, maybe when the next Elder Scrolls comes out around, but even then, development wise. But I am kind of ready for an ESO 2. But I guess that's just me. I don't know.
Mm.
Um,
Let me ask you something about that, right? Not because when I did play a bit of ESO, right? As big as that motherfucker is,
it's huge.
like it's huge,
Yeah,
right?
I
And
mean, it's
that's
an MMO, so it's gotta
technically
be.
yeah, right. And that's technically the latest iteration of Elder Scrolls, right? And it's a lot of improvements from Skyrim to that. And when I play that game, I'm like, wow, this game looks amazing. It feels amazing. Only reason I don't invest in MMOs too much is because it's like I can't like invest that time, the type of gamer I am,
Yeah,
unless
it's
it
not like
really,
back in
really
the day.
clicks
Yeah.
with me, right? Yeah, like it gotta really, really, really click with me. And especially with me trying to, do reviews and content and stuff like that. I can't afford to get too caught up on certain things. And when I play that game though, I think to myself, I know it probably wasn't like this day one, but I'm saying from when I played it about a couple years ago, I'm like, yo, this game is beautiful. It looks amazing. It feels good. And I'm like, it's all of these things that I'm loving about it, and it's an MMO multiplayer game. So you got to do all that behind the scenes work for servers and just all the shit that go into an online game, right? And I think to myself, Bethesda is about to fucking kill it with Elder Scrolls 6. Like every time,
Oh, well,
if
for sure.
anybody is worried about Elder Scrolls 6, just go play ESO and be like, man, this, but fully focused on single player shit.
Yeah.
Man, the skies is the fucking limit. And that's what I took away from playing ESO. I just would play it and be like, they did all this for a multiplayer experience. Imagine when it's strictly only focused on, the single player shit that they're known for and they thrive in, and I'd be like, man, that game is that. I'm just like, not to get off track, I'm just curious, like, would you make that an Xbox exclusive?
I think it would at least start as one. Yeah, I mean, because we've
ESO
got that
2
report.
or Elder Scrolls
Nah,
6?
just Elder Scrolls 6.
Elder Scrolls 6. Yeah, for
Hell
sure.
yeah, you start that as an exclusive. Sorry,
100%.
I'm getting ahead of myself.
I know we just had that report where it was like, there's not a red line around which ones are going to go multi-platform, and I do think that's true. And a lot of the people who have been sort of getting really upset about like, oh, all these games are going to go over to PlayStation. I think that's just kind of the way things are going. And I don't just mean for Xbox. I mean, I think we're seeing that with Square Enix, that they're like, we're not making enough money. I think we just saw the PlayStation restructuring, and they left Hiroki Totoki at top. Like they're talking about how there's two CEOs or whatever, and it's the Herman Holst in charge of the games, and then some other guy whose name I forgot in charge of the hardware and like second party stuff. But above them is still Hiroki Totoki, and he's the money man. And the money man is going to say, hey, Sea of Thieves is our best-selling game for the second month in a row. We should see about porting some of our games over to an unserved, a market where we haven't served our games to before, and see how they perform over there. I don't think that they're going to obviously start. They'll do the same thing that Xbox did. Like they won't start with, Spider-Man, God of War, whatever. They'll start with like their second party shit. Like they'll bring over.
I would say Helldivers is the genius thing to do, right?
It's gonna be Helldivers, or it'll be like Death Stranding. It'll be second party stuff.
I would say
kind of own.
If you bring first party, take the Microsoft approach. Like if I'm Microsoft, the copies that sold on PlayStation is going straight in the front of the sequel, and then whatever else we need from that, we'll add on to it, right? If I'm Sony, I'll put Days Gone on Xbox and take a Game Pass check for it. And all the profits I get from that right there, I will use that to fund the Days Gone too. The same thing with Returnal. Like you can literally have your main competitor funding your games.
I do think Returnal's another.
I feel like that's genius. Yeah,
because I think Returnal's one of those games where it was like really heavily critically acclaimed, but it just did not move numbers.
And that's all of their games though.
It's a lot of them, yeah. To be fair,
it's a lot of them. Like
they sell well when you look at like
you
them
can't
compared
count
to
Spider-Man though, because like that's Marvel. Like how much can you really brag about Spider-Man selling?
Yeah, yeah. And I also think Marvel, that Spider-Man might be the first of like the big first-party games that goes over, just because they can pretend that like Marvel's sort of forcing their hands on that, like they did with MLB and all that. I do think though that I don't know. I don't know necessarily that they would take the Game Pass money for it for like some of their games. I think they might just port them over, like maybe Helldivers, because you want to get the the biggest the biggest group there. But I think that their metrics are still very heavily focused on game sales. I know they just said that they're wanting to change it, but I think that they're probably going to be looking at increasing those numbers as much as possible, just because that's the metric that they've used for so long. And so I wonder, because you're right? Like we're looking at these huge games that they have, and they do sell well compared to a lot of other games. But when you compare that to like the install base of the PlayStation, then you're like, why are only like 5% of you buying this game, right? Like you just got this huge Spider-Man game, you got God of War. Like these are the games that your platform is servicing to you as like the biggest games on this platform, and only like 5-10% of you are ever buying it. Like what's the situation here? And that's really weird, right? And I think that they understand that that's probably kind of the cap of what they're going to sell in their current fan base, because like you said earlier, the vast majority of the people who are playing on their system, or really on any system, are people who are just playing like the Call of Duties, the Maddens, whatever, those sort of things. That's what the majority, that's what the majority of gamers are. So you need to go and find that consumer base. If you want to increase the number of sales you have, you need to go and find that consumer base wherever it is, whether that is moving into new regions. Like I know there's a lot of underserved regions in terms of console sales in like Africa or like Southern Asia. Like there's a lot of places you can go with that, or you need to just start putting your things on new platforms. That's why we're seeing everyone put their stuff on PC. We're seeing Xbox start to put their stuff on PlayStation. We've seen PlayStation put some of their stuff on Xbox. Whether people want to acknowledge that that's happened or not, it has happened. Like MLB is over there, all the Destiny stuff is over there. We know the Marathon is coming over to Xbox. Like they're making decisions of saying like it's okay for these games to go to Xbox. And I think that the more of those they make, the harder it's going to be to say no to later things. I think that's true of Xbox too. I just think we're going to get very quickly to a point in the next, 5-10 years maybe, where exclusivity is either not a thing at all, or it's like a year timed exclusive, and then things go over to other platforms, which is probably for the best. Honestly,
I think that's for the best too, bro. Like I think it's.
Go ahead, Nero.
No, I was just saying I really think it's for the best too, because now it's like you can't hide behind your games to sell me this system. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Because when you talk about features in these systems, I'm sorry, but the Xbox Series X wipes the PlayStation 5 from quick resume to auto HDR, FPS boost, just the way they preserve your older games, the backwards compatibility, being able to play original Xbox games and 360 games with ease, not streaming them, like literally locally playing them.
Yeah, put the disc
You
in.
get what I'm saying? Yeah, you put the disc in and you're good to go. You download this game, you're good to go. So, if you take away Sony exclusive library, what is the PS5 selling you? You see
That's a fair
the load
point.
comparison. You see the load comparisons. For that SSD to be so mighty and powerful.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
what
not
a
really.
6-second load time versus a 7.25 second load time. You get what I'm saying? Like shit that don't matter. So
I
it's
Yeah.
mean,
like,
to be honest with you, in my world, if I had it my way, Sega would make a new system. Nintendo already came out with their new Switch. We have the next generation of Xbox and PlayStation coming up, and games are available anywhere. So you choose the hardware you want, like you would as if you're a PC gamer, but you're a console gamer. You know what I mean? And I would love
definitely.
for it to be that way, but I can't see that happening for a very long time if it ever does, because unfortunately I've seen Sony being way too proud for that, and because of that I feel like Xbox will just be forced to follow suit.
Let me ask you something though, Dusty.
Yes,
Can
sir.
you afford to put pride over profit?
I think that's
True.
actually a good point
Microsoft
in this
can.
case.
Microsoft
Microsoft
can.
can.
Microsoft
Nintendo
can. I'm just
can.
waiting.
I
Sony
I
is
just don't
starting
think Sony
to.
can.
Sony
Yeah.
is starting to in certain ways. I just don't know if they can fully ever commit to break their traditions
Yeah.
that they've always been,
It'll be tough for sure. But I think we've seen Hiroki Totoki sort of allude that he wants to at least start breaking down that wall. And
Yeah.
also they're not in a great position. Like their stocks and financials are doing really, really bad lately.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of falling off a cliff. They're at like a decade low right now. Which is partially because they're apparently planning on buying Paramount, which I hope doesn't go through because they already got a monopoly on Western anime distribution.
That is
And they're
such
kind
a
of screwing
wild
that up,
rumor.
quite honestly.
That is such a wild rumor.
Yeah, I really hope that doesn't turn out to be true because I
Yeah.
like Paramount and I don't want them to mess it up. But anyway,
Sony can afford Paramount? Oh shit.
No, they had to, because they have a partner. They had to partner up with a investment firm called Apollo to make the money.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So it's they're going in together, but Sony will be the majority stakeholder, so they'll make like most of the decisions, and then Apollo will probably mostly just be the money guy.
Okay.
But regardless, I think that the sort of exclusivity breaking down, it has to happen slowly, because my concern with Xbox putting stuff on PlayStation was never like this is a bad idea. It was that you can't be the only person doing this, because then you kind of destroy the reason for owning your console. But if everyone does it, then, or at least just Xbox and PlayStation, like Nintendo can go do their own thing and whatever, but Xbox and PlayStation do it, then you get into a situation where it's the best for everybody. Like the devs are making more money because they're selling in more places. If they do it a timed exclusive sort of situation, then what that means is that when you're choosing your platform, if you don't have the amount, like you don't have the money to buy multiple platforms, you don't have to worry too much. You might miss out on some of the conversation, but you'll get it on the second time around. Like you don't have to worry about buying every console and having everything plugged into your TV all at the same time. But at the same time, it also sort of encourages these studios or these publishers to put out games that are in a good state at launch, because if you're not fixing that game until a year later, then all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, your main platform just beta tested this for everyone else, so it kind of puts us back in a situation where,
and
like,
low key, that's kind of what happened with Xbox.
A little bit.
A little bit. I mean, even though it's miscellaneous shit like Shadows, and I mean, but my thing is like, if you want to wait a year to get our games and brag about having better Shadows and shit, then I mean, by that time, especially if Microsoft is sticking to the one big first party game every quarter going forward, like if they can hit that stride and do that consistently years in a row. Because I'm not gonna lie, like I kind of matured a little bit over the last couple months, because I was against anything we own going to PlayStation, only because it's not even because it's yeah, I know, right? But my only beef was that it's like I don't even got a problem with Sony gatekeeping their own games. It's the Sony gatekeeping third party games. right? Like companies you don't
Yeah.
fucking own. You know, you telling fucking Capcom, hey, we'll do the marketing, but you can't put this game in Game Pass for 3-4 years. Like little backhanded shit like that is why I was like, yo, these fuckers don't deserve shit. But then the fan and the real gamer in me, like, yo, I love Starfield, bro. Like Starfield is really my heart, right? And I feel like the only way Starfield will ever truly get its recognition and its respect is if it goes to PlayStation. And that pains me as an Xbox fanboy to say, but as a Bethesda fanboy, I'm like, yo, I'm sorry, it's the truth. Like to me, it's like Starfield is a masterpiece. People can feel how they want to feel about it, but the only way people in the industry as a whole will ever be able to be real about it is if it went to PlayStation. And that's sad, but it's that way with a lot of Xbox games. You know, the media, they try to say Xbox tax is not a real thing. I'm sorry, not sorry. That is definitely a real thing. You know, if Starfield was a PlayStation exclusive, that shit would be a 90. That shit would be an 87 or 88. No, can't nobody in the world tell me different. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the only way a lot of these PlayStation games will truly ever get their respect, just like people talk shit about Halo. It's easy to talk shit about games that you don't got or you don't play. You know, so if Halo went over there, Halo instantly becomes a top selling, top tier, shooter on the market easily overnight. Especially since Halo Infinite is already fucking free to play. They don't even gotta buy the shit, they just download it, and have to buy the campaign. And it's such a mixy situation because the fan in me is fighting one thing, but like Dusty said, I'm all about growth. I want Xbox to grow.
Yeah.
Them games that they did put on. Now I will say I gotta take it back a little bit because when they put Hi-Fi Rush on PlayStation, I was like, yes, we're getting Hi-Fi Rush 2. Only for them to turn around and close the studio. But then when you put your big boy shoes on, your big boy hat on, and you really think about the business side of things, it's a reason why it was no promotion for Hi-Fi Rush. It's a reason why it was just stealthily announced and stealthily dropped. I don't think that game was ever going to be the game that keep Tango. I think this decision to close Tango been a thing. I think it was already a thing before Xbox purchased it. And who's to say id Software wasn't going to get closed or these other, Arcane Leon as well if Microsoft didn't step in. Bethesda wasn't in a good spot before Microsoft acquired it. And people don't realize that. It's a reason these fucking companies was looking to sell. They wasn't in great spots. If Microsoft didn't buy these companies, these layoffs and closures would still be happening. It's an industry-wide thing.
That's true.
Now, I mean, you would think that the $1 trillion company can keep, studios open and shit, but it's a reason they $1 trillion companies. If they're saying, yo, we're not going to see no profit from this studio right here, or, they in order to see a profit, we got to hire more people for Tango. Like, man, let's just let Tango go. Let's shuffle it up a bit, bring other teams, other places. And I'm sorry, like I might be biased, but I think who's the people that made Psychonauts? I always forget their name, man.
Double Fine.
Oh man, I think Double Fine could take a swing at a Hi-Fi sequel.
Oh sure, yeah. I don't think they would, but I don't think they would. I think they definitely make games that are of that caliber. I mean, I think Psychonauts 2 was of that caliber, and it won a ton of awards.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is with that, we'll never really know. Like, we'll never know what would have happened if Bethesda hadn't been acquired. You're right to say that they were in a really bad place before. I mean, that's why they were being purchased. A lot of the games that they put out that didn't hit, they put out because they were making just whatever decision they could make to try and scrape together as much money as possible. That's why we saw Fallout 76 happen, because they were hoping to get a live service, which apparently that game makes like a shitload of money, which I don't understand, but I guess it does. And then Wolfenstein Youngblood happened, and like Redfall, like there were a lot of like bad decisions made by previous leadership that led to some problems. And so I think you're absolutely right. Like things would have gone badly for Bethesda. We'll never know how badly. The hope when they were purchased by Microsoft was that Microsoft would sort of take some of those blows for them because they're a $1 trillion company and sort of protect them better.
And technically they did in a way, because
I mean, hopefully.
do you think like Daniel, to be honest, do you think that Bethesda could have afforded to delay Starfield for that year?
No, absolutely not. Bethesda would have put that thing out an hour.
Yeah.
Like
so
a year
how do you think that would have? how do you think that would have
Oh,
looked?
really
And think
bad.
about it. And it would have been had to be, you would have had to make it for PlayStation as well. So that's bringing a whole nother
well, they probably would have
console
taken,
into
because
it.
we know PlayStation was trying to get that as an exclusive. They probably would have
Yeah,
taken
they
that
probably would
money
have took
and made
that.
it a
They probably
PlayStation
would have taken
exclusive.
that. Yeah, you're right.
So that probably would have happened, and I don't know how much that money was. I mean, we've been seeing from Square Enix that money is not enough to support yourselves on, so probably wouldn't have saved them too much. We'll never know. It definitely would have still been bad for Bethesda, and I agree that I think it probably still would have been worse. I do, I don't want to let Xbox off the hook. Like, I'm mad that they closed these studios. But you're right. Like, this is an industry-wide problem. This isn't just a Microsoft thing, and we've seen, because there's been so much of the the fallout of that situation, specifically being like, oh, this is proof that the Game Pass model doesn't work. This is proof that Microsoft is terrible. This is proof that consolidation is terrible. And like, I understand people feeling that way about things, but objectively, if you look at it, that's not really the case. Consolidation, I know people have been like really sketchy about that for a long time, and there's pros and cons to it, and I think this is clearly one of the cons of it. But in terms of like, oh, this is Microsoft mismanagement, this is Game Pass not working, it's like, you could make that argument, but you would also have to make the argument that everyone else's management and everyone else's like business model is also not working, because we've been seeing this across the board. So like, if Game Pass isn't working, that's fine, but it seems to be working at least equivalently as well as PlayStation's model and as EA's model and as Take-Two's model, because they're also closing studios. They're also laying off tons and tons of people, like the smaller numbers of people, like, but the same percentage of people.
And like you said, right? If the Game Pass model isn't working, why is so many companies following it? Why is EA Play a thing and increasing the price? Why is Ubisoft Plus a thing? All Ubisoft games day one in there.
Yeah,
so for $18 come November, you can play Star Wars Outlaws and the new Assassin's Creed for $18-19. Subscribe for 1 month. You get to play and beat those games. Just have a whole month dedicated to Ubisoft games. That's the route I'm gonna take. Right, Prince of Persia, all those games in there, you can beat them, get your fill, and then boom, cancel your subscription after a month. Like,
that's what I did with Fallout 76. Actually, is I got the like really cheap free month of it for Fallout First that they were offering, and then I finished the game as fast as possible and unsubscribed because I was like, I don't know,
I feel you, man.
But no, yeah, because it's there's absolute, like, I don't want to not throw shade or put smoke on Xbox for closing all these studios. But at the same time, it's like, is it a stupid decision for Xbox to have closed down Tango, who objectively put out one of their more critically acclaimed games of the last couple of years? Yeah, that feels like a weird choice to me. At the same time, we're looking at PlayStation, and it's like, Insomniac has been hard carrying the PS5 since the launch of that console. And they've had, what, 2, maybe 3 waves of layoffs already, and they've been completely restructured into being just a Marvel studio, even though we've seen that doesn't really make a ton of money for them. So I'm not sure what the plan there is, but whatever. Like there's a lot of really bad decisions being made across the board in the industry. Like, even Take-Two just closed down huge portions of a private division, which is one of the more trusted names in like indie publishing. Like, when private division puts their name on an indie that they're publishing, 9 out of 10 times it's a banger. Like, it's a good ass game, and they just closed down like a ton of the teams that were working for private.
What is that?
Just getting laid off.
What is that? It's not just Xbox doing layoffs.
No,
it's not. Wait, so it's not
it's possible.
Wait, Xbox isn't killing gaming. It's not just. Oh shit! I thought it was just Xbox. Like, I thought they were just firing everybody. They're responsible for everyone's layoffs, even at Starbucks. I mean, somebody got fired the other day. I thought that was Xbox's fault. Oh,
and the Series S.
I do think that, like, PR
and the Series S.
It's a really bad choice for them to close these studios down for exactly that reason. Because I think if Xbox, like, they already did their big wave of layoffs, but if they had done that and then just like sat. Because these layoffs are going to continue to happen for the rest of the year. We've heard that multiple times from all,
especially because of that merger. Like, if people really didn't think that something like this was going to happen, come on now.
Yeah, well, I didn't even just mean Xbox. I mean, like, across the industry. Like, this sort of thing is going to continue to happen across the industry. We're going to see more closures. We've seen analysts and all kinds of people allude to that for a long time now. It's going to be a really rough year. It's already been a really rough year. But if Xbox and Microsoft more particularly had been able to sort of take take that hit on the chin and like been the one person that's not laying people off right now, that would have been a really good PR thing for them to be like, yes, we
Yeah.
brought all these people and yes, we intend to take care of them. And I understand the business side of it where like that's not really a thing.
That's not realistic.
Yeah. But like PR wise, I don't know, they kind of needed something like that because the media has been trashing them for admittedly not a lot of great reasons. Like there's done some dumb stuff in the past and will continue to do more dumb stuff in the future, I'm sure. But like they get trashed on uncharacteristically hard for no particular reason. And if they could even just like honestly walk the walk of what they've been saying this whole time of like we're the good guys and just like avoid doing this, I think it would have been really beneficial to them. But unfortunately now, you know, now they've given the IGNs of the world just more fuel,
unlimited
to just continue.
ammo. Yeah,
I mean, we're 2 weeks later talking about other layoffs, and I'll be watching, you know, a podcast from one of these big publications, and they're still like, they're still bringing up the Xbox thing as like a but it's not as bad as that. And I'm like, okay, but like, what are we talking about? Like, come on.
I kind of wish they was a little more deceptive, which is kind of ignorant to say as a fan, right? But I wish they could have did like, hey, we're merging Tango with Arcane, or we're, you know, try to dress it up a little bit. You get what I'm saying? Like, we're laying off people, but we're bringing the studios together. Like Tango IPs will still be supported and just stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But I would argue people might not really realize how big Activision is, right? Because everybody only thinks about Call of Duty, but they don't think about how talented those studios are, especially when you're not locking them into Illuminati slave contract of having to just make Call of Duties every fucking year, right? So when them devs get freed up, I'm sorry, but I do think out of all the studios Microsoft have, I do think those IPs that Tango own can still see sequels down the line. I do think someone can make a Ghostwire 2, a Hi-Fi Rush 2. It's sad because, you know, the people who made it and put that passion in to start it, they might not be a part of it anymore. So it's like, you know,
is it really the same team working on
is
it?
Can you
trust it if it's not?
Can you? But then again,
I probably wouldn't bother. I mean, like, I would like another Evil Within game, don't get me wrong. But I don't know that it would feel the same without Shinji Mikami on it. Like, even with him having left the studio, I wouldn't necessarily have wanted a third one from them. So it's
I mean, but if I'm Microsoft, that's even more of a reason why you should be on good terms with, you know, him leaving
Shinji's new studio.
Support him. Support his new 100%. Studio. Like, dude, I think, and this is my problem with Microsoft and Xbox as well, right? Since we're critiquing them a bit tonight.
Yeah,
this is what real fans do. Ponies don't do this. What y'all hearing right now?
I wish they. Well, the Trophy Room does. I wish other podcasts did. You know. By the way, just since we're on that, subscribe to the Trophy Room if you are a PlayStation fan. That is the one PlayStation channel I do support on YouTube, because to be honest with you, a reputable PlayStation channel that will talk about Xbox stuff and not bash on it all to oblivion, and then talk about PlayStation stuff and then hold PlayStation accountable and, you know, express their feelings when things aren't being met the way they should be. Subscribe to the Trophy Room, please, because it's really rare to find a reputable PlayStation channel these days. Continue, Nero.
Definitely. No, I was saying, damn, what the fuck? I'm sorry, my mind, bro. Like,
no, you good.
Totally zoned out for a second. Shout out to the Trophy Room, like you were saying though. It's hard to listen
while you gather your thoughts, let me run to the chat really quick. Definitely. Xbox Reforged says, with the hardware always getting better, it's going to be hard for both companies to continue to compete with PC, especially if it gets to the point where they have to sell consoles at PC prices. I could see consoles being a thing of the past, or it will be upgradable consoles. But once console prices get too close to the price of building a PC, it will be harder to sell consoles. Then it'll go from console wars to launcher wars. And I don't know
that I agree with that. Because here's the thing: is I think the console market is such that it basically is already just a defect. Like, it's a PC that's built specifically for gaming. Like, that's what it is. The situation is that having a super powerful PC doesn't matter anymore. Like, it honestly never really has. PC people are going to get mad at me for this, but it's the God's honest truth. If you go out and you buy top of the line PC stuff every time it comes out, like the new 50 series comes out and you buy that day one, there's going to be like one game that takes advantage of that, and it's the one that
Mhm.
Nvidia, whoever paid for to take advantage, because these games aren't built with that stuff
They
in
not
mind, because there's like
prioritized for you, buddy.
there's such a
Like,
small percentage of people who have the
exactly.
highest tier thing. They're building for these like potato rigs. Like look at Fortnite, look at World of Warcraft, look at all these really huge successful games. They're built for weaker
They're-
systems, right?
Yo,
So the consoles are right in that sweet spot of like where they're building the games for anyway.
exactly.
So it doesn't really
Daniel,
matter.
you're spitting
Like, it
spitting
doesn't
facts
really
because
matter. You might
the
get a couple
biggest-
more frames, but it's gonna be the same game. Like it's not gonna
the
be
biggest
demonstrably
game of
better.
the 2020s will not be launching day one on PC.
That's true too.
GTA 6 will not be on. You motherfuckers is afterthoughts. I'm sorry. You can brag about your 4090 and your 8090, 8060, whatever the fuck. I'm sorry. Hey, I'm just sorry. I gotta be honest.
Granted. I wouldn't say PC are afterthoughts, because this is kind of this is kind of normal.
Well, not
for
afterthoughts,
GTA.
but they not the main priority. I would argue.
But I wouldn't even say that, because this is kind of normal for GTA. Like GTA 5, I remember it launching on console before it did PC because they needed to.
Yo.
And so did Red Dead, I think.
Right, exactly. Red Dead is.
Step to the side. Step to the side of the camera, man. Listen, as a console player, bro, we don't got too many W's over PC, bro. Let me have this one, bro.
Let me back up.
Let me have this one, man.
Let me back up.
Yeah, like I was saying, man, you motherfuckers don't even get GTA day one. You
let me play some X-Men. Sorry, my bad.
Yo, like,
yeah.
Nah, I'm just playing, man. But no, that is normal for GTA though.
I do hear what you're saying though, like, because a lot of the times you would think that PC and one of the consoles would come together, but in this case, not really so much. But I don't know. GTA is always an interesting subject when it comes to game releases and timing of everything that they do. What was I gonna say? That's what I was gonna say. I don't know if everybody noticed, I kind of changed the title and the thumbnail of this video. I am going to do, and this is rare, a second live stream tomorrow night discussing X-Men 97 and all of its spoilers.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't have anything to add to that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so you know,
I'm so sorry, man. My homie Reese, man. If you listening, shout out Reese, man. He was just telling me, bro, like, yo, you gotta watch that. That shit is a banger. So
it is so good.
Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. Next time I come on, because look, I want to come on. I want to come back on to talk about Hellblade. I just don't want to like secure lock it in now, because I do got a couple things I gotta handle these next few weeks and months and stuff like that. But I definitely want to swing through for the after the Xbox showcase, like after big game launches. If you ever need me, bro, like I said, hey, I'll be here, bro. So
yeah, definitely,
man.
No, the reason why I changed it, and it's kind of like I'm kind of taking a page out of Boom's book. Shout out to Mr. Boomstick.
Shout out Boom. Shout out Mr. Boom.
But I changed it just because we're having such a great discussion about gaming itself that tonight we'll just keep it gaming, and we'll keep it going for a little while longer, as long as you guys can stay, and we'll talk about the Game Pass, the recent Game Pass games that are coming to Game Pass, the news that dropped. We'll close out with that. But this has just been such a great discussion about gaming. I don't want to cut it off, and especially start talking about something that you guys are not caught up with, and it's going to be very heavily spoiler oriented. But I was thinking to myself, let me do this tomorrow. I used to stream on Thursdays anyways, so I'll run another stream tomorrow night. I'm going to hold myself to that. We are going to discuss X-Men 97, and that's all we're going to talk about. I'll try to see if I can get a panel with me that has seen it, just so like we can go through this. Because honestly,
how
guys,
long are the episodes?
Like 30, 24, 26, 30 minutes. They're honestly, but they're easy to get through. But the story is so good that you just cannot wait to get to the next episode, bro. It is like, there's a reason why, in my opinion, X-Men 97 might possibly, like, not only is it the best piece of Marvel in a long ass freaking time, but it probably might even be better than Endgame. And Endgame for me is, I hold that movie very high. I know a lot of people don't, but the Infinity Saga and all of the movies that comprised of that are like, I hold them close to me. And when it finally got to Endgame, I was like, this is how I wanted it to end for this arc of the story. So because I hold that so high, being a Marvel fan, for me to say that this possibly, like the way season 1 ended, let alone what happened in the middle of the freaking season, could possibly top that in my book. This is
Well, man,
this is
you got me told, man. I'm gonna start. If not tonight,
I
I'm definitely
hate
gonna
hype.
start in the
I
morning,
hate
man. Like,
hyping up things to other people. I hate doing that because I feel like once you see it yourself, it's like I hyped it up too much, and then your
listen.
expectation is
I'm
here.
talking shit on the ADS podcast if I don't fuck with it
No, it
on
is
Saturday. But
no.
I'm taking your word for sure.
I'm going to tell you this right now to everyone on Twitter, whether you're a friend or not. When episode 1 dropped and there were 2 clips that popped up on X and all y'all was talking that shit about the animation and why does it look like this and why does it look like that, and then y'all started watching the show and me and whoever else it was says just get through the first freaking episode and actually watch it before you give an opinion, and now you freaking love that shit. Guess what? I freaking told you so. I fucking told you so. This is the literally by far top 3 best piece of Marvel I have seen in years. In freaking years. And it's not just animation, it's not just story, it is the entire concept of the show. It is the Easter eggs, the things in the background you might not see the first time around. It is the little references to the original animation, references to other animations like Spider-Man 90 whatever freaking 6 or whatever it was, to Fantastic Four, to the Avengers back in the day in the 90s. It is freaking amazing. Whatever
I'm
you
not
saw.
gonna lie. I was sold about 5 minutes ago.
Thank you. I'm done. All right. So it is amazing.
I'm watching it. I'm gonna watch the first episode tonight.
Yeah.
Before I go to bed. But look,
like I give it up to the
remember
people
what I
that are
was
about to
saying
binge
earlier,
this because you're gonna have a great night.
Yeah, I'm about to, man. Shout out to the iWeb TV app. Get to watch every fucking thing on there.
Yep. Let's get back
so
to
I'm
gaming.
Gonna watch that.
Look,
Let's
get
I
back to
remember what I
gaming.
was saying. I'm gonna make this quick so we can get to the other topics, right? But I was saying earlier, my problem with, well, not really a problem, but kind of a critique going forward that I hope Xbox does more of this is, just build good relationships with devs. You know, stop trying, like after Activision and Bethesda, I'm kind of cool on the acquisition shit. You know, let's clean up our house. You know, you're dealing with, you know, layoffs in the industry. Like everybody's like, let's clean up home. Let's get everybody, you know, on one accord. Let's get these studios and these games like a well-oiled machine. Let's get these things rotating. Let's get it going. But build these good relationships, man. Like, you know, invest. You know, don't fully. You don't have to go fully buy a publisher or a studio. You know, like invest in the smaller studios. Invest in the tech lands of the world. You feel what I'm saying? You chipping in and helping them out, develop games, and hey, you guys need any help, or we just want to be here for y'all. We want this partnership, and I'm not gonna say that you see them doing that. You know, you see them doing it with Square Enix. If you think Square Enix is leaving just because no Square Enix, once you seen Phil Spencer and them shaking hands on stages and shit like that, like Phil Spencer, like they bringing that business, they bringing that money into the picture. Like, yo, listen, you guys is missing out over here. We got a beautiful thing going, like. Our consoles, don't let the gloom and doom narratives fool y'all, brothers. And you see it with Capcom. You know, I forgot the name of the game that's coming. Is it this year or next year? But it's launching day 1 in Game Pass. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And I just want them to continue doing that. You know, I think they got a really good relationship with Asobo. You know, they helped out with Port and Flight Simulator over in A Plague's Tale day 1. Both games was day 1 in Game Pass. Well, I'm not sure about the first game, but I know Requiem was definitely day 1. So my thing is like, you know, man, get in good with some of these devs, man. You know, let them have their freedom, and it's less, you know, stress on you and Matt Booty or whoever is over the games. It's less stress on them because you don't own this. You don't have to like be super hands-on and involved. But if you got good relationship with these devs and let them, because look at what they did with Toys for Bob, right? Toys for Bob, they wanted to be independent. They didn't want to be under Activision anymore. So instead of closing them down and shut them down, they said, hey, okay, you guys can be free. They let them be free. They came right back to the table and they signed a contract with Microsoft. So, you know, you're going to still get the crashes. You're still going to get the spirals. You're still going to get all that. I would rather them do that. I definitely would rather them do that. You know, I think that'd be dope. And maybe they should have considered doing that for Tango. You know, maybe let Tango be independent.
Yeah.
Let them be their own thing, but just, you know, have them partnerships, man. Have them partnerships going forward. That was my thoughts earlier when I forgot what I was gonna say, but I just think that would be dope. You know, if you're not gonna be able to keep buying things, just it's good partnerships to go a long way. And you see it with Sony, but I feel like Microsoft don't have to do the Sony route of being egregious behind the scenes, being greedy, trying to gatekeep this, that, and the third, and paying to keep this game away and that game away. They don't have to do that. And that's what I love about Microsoft. Instead of having to buy a game exclusivity, how about you buy that game for Game Pass? Like, hey, you guys can still go wherever the fuck you want to go. But the money they giving you to keep your game off our platform, we want to give you that same money to put your game in Game Pass.
Yeah.
Like that's smart and that's genius. And that's pushing the industry forward, because despite what anybody say about Xbox, like Xbox, I'm sorry, but they always constantly making Sony look like the bad guys, but the media is just so on Sony dick that it's so hard for, you know, not for real. It's really hard for the public to notice and catch on to these things. You know, like Sony hopped on the $70 price tag shit. Microsoft wasn't hopping on that at first. They stayed like away from that for like a year and some change. But you can't like not get on that wave when everybody else is doing it. Like, yes, you know, people think $1 trillion mean like you can just do shit for the benefit. No, it's a reason they got this money. You have to be smart. You have to follow certain trends that are profitable for other places. But as far as backwards compatibility, they're smoking Sony. As far as bang for your buck, they're smoking Sony. As far as consumer friendly, you can feel how you want to feel, but you know, Microsoft is giving you guys Sea of Thieves and Hi-Fi. So it's like Microsoft, you know, they play that good guy role really well until they don't. You get what I'm saying? And sometimes as a fan, it's frustrating because it's like, you sitting over here steady bringing, you know, steaks and fish and all these good meals to PlayStation, and they giving you shit back, but the shit they are giving you got poison in it. They wanting to see you fail. You know what I'm saying? So as a fan, it's frustrating, but as a fan of the business, it just makes a lot of sense. So I just had to get that off, Dusty. We can move on to the next topic if you guys don't have anything for that.
Any final thoughts, Mr. Daniel McGee?
No, I mean, I think that pretty well sums it up. It's there's a lot of things changing in the industry right now, and I'm excited to see where they go. But I think it's gonna get worse before it gets better. Unfortunately,
it is, man.
It always does. You know, anytime you are trying to make it to the promised land, there's always, you know, people think like, oh, it's smooth sailing. You know, everything's going well, but there's always gonna be, you know, a few moments that, you know, like aren't so pretty, and if you're not ready for them, they're gonna seem way more ugly than they
definitely
really are. I mean, granted, saying that you know, like Poison said earlier, anyone losing their job in situations like this, it's just it's awful, right? But at the end of the day, it happens. We can discuss it all we want, but there's really nothing we can do because we aren't these corporations. You know, we can feel for these people, but at the end of the day, we gotta also move on and move forward within ourselves. You know, we're here talking about it, and we hope that energy that we're giving to it, you know, reaches those people somehow spiritually, and they're able to, you know, use that towards themselves and continue moving forward within the industry and within their skills and whatnot. But you know,
I'm sorry, I gotta be the dickhead real quick.
No,
I gotta be the bad guy one last time before we move on. Listen,
go for it.
I hope this can be shot here. Remedy, I love you guys. Y'all are some of my favorite devs. You guys are goated. I love Alan Wake. It's right up there with Dead Space and Resident Evil, my favorite survival horror franchise. And you guys only are 2 games in. But something really triggered me from Remedy, and I touched on it on the ADS podcast, our pod, right? And I got to touch on it again. I seen Remedy devs, and devs, you guys got to stop doing this. I get it, like you know, one dev to another, man. One love, man. Keep your head up. I get all that.
One love.
But Remedy devs was literally over here at Entangle devs saying, hey, we have room at Remedy. You can come over here. Let's calm down. Alan Wake 2 is a game of the generation contender. It's not beating Starfield, but it's a great game. Last year, arguably the greatest game. It's a god tier game. I can't recommend Alan Wake 2 enough. But that game has yet to make profits. And that's one of the best games to come out this generation. Before you start hiring people, you might want to turn profits on your last AAA release. You might want to focus on doing that. Because it would be a shame for you to go hire them Tango devs and come February or September this year, you guys in the same position.
Yeah, they made some bad calls financially on that game where they made it an Epic Game Store exclusive, and then they also didn't release a physical version of it when I know for a fact people would have bought big ass collector's editions of that game, no problem.
And then it was $50 on PC, but $60 on Xbox. Which I'm not gonna complain too much about the price though, because it's worth it. I argue that game was worth $70 if they was to charge that.
Yeah.
But it just kind of triggered me when I see certain devs, like when layoffs happen, trying to pretend like they can offer other devs jobs at their place, and it's like, look around, baby, look around, homie. You might want to just be humble. Like you're not safe. I love Remedy, but making a game as beautiful and as dope as Alan Wake 2 and then just not turning a profit, that I ain't gonna lie, that kind of bummed me out. It's sad because I feel like that game should have tremendous success.
Yeah,
but it's just the state of the industry. Games is just not set. People is not buying games the way they should and would. So I mean, I just found that kind of triggered me a little bit. They trying to, and I get it. Like I said, one love. Keep your head up, man. But you can do all that shit without trying to act like you can offer somebody a job, because you might be in the same situation. I pray they don't be, but that could be you, Remedy, in a few months. Yeah. And anyone that's laughing, it can be you, because like I said, I didn't necessarily. I don't laugh at people losing their jobs, but I did chuckle at Insomniac, because I'm like, damn, them motherfuckers been carrying PlayStation and still getting laid off. That's tough. But then really turn around anybody, damn, they dropped the gem with Hi-Fi Rush and still got shut down. That's tough. It's fun and jokes until it's on the other's foot,
Yeah, and because the thing is like the way that they see it, they're trimming their fat where they feel like they need to, whether and whether however it makes us feel, or not. That's just how they view it, and it sucks. And like, and in true, like, there were a lot of weird like hate posts on Twitter. I mean, obviously this always happens,
right?
But like towards like
people
lost their jobs, and like people making fun of that, or like like there was one random tweet somebody had said, reach out to me, like, for the devs like going through this right now, or whoever you are. And somebody had left like a random, you scroll through everybody's replies, and there's always that one random profile, no profile picture, and no life to their page or whatever, and it just says like the dumbest thing, and like why it's there, because it's just a trolling comment. But it's just like, to even just take time to feel that this is necessary to say right now is just so beyond me. To say something
it's ignorant, and I expect better from the devs. I do, and like, I'm sending some shots towards Alana Pierce. I guess she worked for Santa Monica, the God of War studio with PlayStation, right? And she was just like talking mad shit about Xbox, and even telling people to boycott Xbox games, like don't support Game Pass, don't buy their games. Like, so you're gonna say fuck one studio gets shut down? Well, 4 technically, but we really know the one everybody is upset about. So let's just say 1, because nobody gave a fuck about the Redfall, Arcane, Austin. Nobody cared when the games was coming out from them and it was getting reviewed bad, but everybody cared after the fact. Everybody really hurt about Tango, let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
So you saying because 4 studios closed, fuck the other thousands and thousands and thousands of Microsoft employees and Xbox Game Studios employees, right? Fuck the thousands and thousands of devs that work just as hard as you. Because shit that they can't control happen. Like, these people got to realize that they have power in their words. Like, you are a fucking dev. People look up to you, my nigga. Like, we love your games, we love what you got going on, but it's like, at some point, sometimes you should shut the fuck up, or maybe offer your support behind the scenes. Stop being a fucking timeline warrior. You get what I'm saying? Especially her, because it's like, Sony layoffs is not done. Did she speak up for her Insomniac? Like, you work for PlayStation. Did you speak up for your Insomniac devs?
Yeah.
I promise you, she didn't. That's corny as fuck, bro.
Yeah.
That's
right.
corny as fuck, bro. And then like, my problem is like, whether you a female or a male, your gender and your sex don't matter, right? But you say dumb shit like, yo, cancel your Game Pass, don't support Microsoft. And then when them trolls get on your ass about saying dumb shit like that, you want to hide behind her, oh, I'm a woman, I can't have her opinion. Or like, no.
Yeah, don't do that.
No, don't do that.
Don't pull out that card.
You said some dumbass shit. You feel what I'm saying? That's like if I say some dumbass shit in this podcast or offend the LGBTQ community or the Jewish, any community, right? Let's just say I offend anyone. And then I hide behind her. Oh, they just saying I'm this or that, I'm homophobic because I'm black. Like, no, I said some dumbass shit. I offended people. People got on my head. It don't matter my skin color. It don't matter what's between my legs. If you say some dumb shit, you say some dumb shit. You should be held accountable for it.
Yeah,
So I hate when
accountability
people
is
do
everything.
that.
Yeah, I
But
know.
I seen her do that, and it's the other shorty that worked for IGN or Games Radar. They always do this shit. They say some dumbass shit, and then they try to hide behind it's because I'm a woman. Like, no, it's not. If anything, you making shit worse for the next woman who's just trying to voice her opinion by making it seem like
put out a reputable
like,
comment. There's a difference between putting out a reputable opinion and a dumbass statement. And
exactly.
that doesn't matter if you're a guy or a girl, black or white, this or that. Like,
exactly.
It's either it's a reputable opinion or it's a dumbass comment.
Exactly.
And that's within this world. That's obviously not within all facets of life, but within this realm, we experience that a lot. Either you see somebody give their honest opinion and you see people like have a discussion about it, and that can happen on X, and then you see people that give dumbass comments and we see how that goes for those people. But like what was I gonna say, so for my stance, right, I'm like anti PlayStation, and because of their business practices, and until they shape up, I can't really support in a certain degree, right? So with me, if anybody knows me as a gamer, and they know that, then where does my stance fall on this with Xbox? Well, when Xbox starts moving like PlayStation, then I'll have that same stance. This is not a matter of moving like PlayStation. This is just something that happens in business and has been happening for years and years and years, and it's nothing new. But because we've had all of this goodness with this ABK merger, getting all of this great stuff on the green side, and then this happens, people want to be all up in arms and doom and gloom about this shit. But for me, until Xbox starts moving like PlayStation, it's Team Green till I die. And that doesn't make me an Xbot. It just makes me somebody who enjoys being on this side. And I really wish PlayStation would start moving like that so I can enjoy being on that side too. And I said that last episode and the episode before.
On some real shit, I go where I feel valued at, right? I spent a lot of time on the PS4 Pro towards the back half of last generation because I felt, as a consumer of PlayStation games at the time, I felt like I was really being valued. From Days Gone, I loved that. I enjoyed Death Stranding. I know a lot of people didn't. I enjoyed that. I never liked the Horizon series. I never capped for that. I'm sorry. God of War 2018, I'm sorry, they didn't connect with me. I'm a fan of the original God of War. It's all that hack and slash and fighting Zeus and all the motherfuckers, all this like story and trying to run my heart over with Kratos. Like, I'm sorry, like that's not what I grew up on, so I'm not a fan of that. But Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Days Gone, Death Stranding, that's 4 games at the later half of that generation where I felt very valued at. So when Xbox come around, Xbox always been where my heart was at though. But like I said, I'm not gonna miss out on good games out of blind loyalty.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Days Gone was definitely the game that made me go get a PlayStation 4 Pro. I was like, okay, man, I've waited long enough. And the same generation I kind of do this all the time. Like, it started last generation. I get an Xbox console day one. I wait for the PlayStation to put out a Pro or Slim or something like that, and then I go get that. This year, I could go get a PS5 ASAP, but I'm waiting for the PS5 Pro because I waited this long. Why not get the best version of what I'm about to go get? And
I have my own opinion on the PS5 Pro. I think it's going to be a waste of freaking money, but that's just me.
I mean, it's really just a Series X. That's really what it's going to come
So you're
down
saying
to.
the PS5 is a Series S, is what you're saying?
Yeah, a PS5 is a Series S Plus.
So in turn, what you're saying is this isn't really the Series S's fault. It's the PS5's fault.
No,
oh my God. We figured it out.
Even Digital Foundry said it. It's funny how everybody like posting they rhetoric when it's talking about game frames dropping on Xbox, but nobody wants to talk about the facts, right? The PS5 don't have full RDNA 2. They don't have the variable rate shading. I don't know if you guys remember, but when Dead Space Remake dropped, they had variable rate shading on the Xbox, and it helped with performance. It ran perfectly fine on the Xbox because it's a hardware built-in feature, just like VR, VRS. Those are RDNA hardware built-in features.
Somebody
said PS5 got patched features, software features, which is like that's not ideal. Remember, they had to patch in VRR support. 2 years after the PS5 launch, they got VR support. It wasn't there day one because it's not a hardware supported feature. Variable rate shading is a patched in over the air. Like you motherfuckers is getting over the air features that we have built into the Series S and X. So a PS5 from an Xbox fan, yes, I'm ready for the PS5 Pro because that's the only way these third-party devs are going to take advantage and squeeze everything they can out of the S and the X.
I'll say it before and I'll say it again. If COVID, and I said this a long ass time ago, if COVID never happened, PlayStation would be in line with Xbox as far as what they're dropping in quality and this and that. However, behind the scenes, they would be hanging neck and neck, realistically, because there's a lot of shit that's been going on with PlayStation that would have come to light anyway, despite COVID. However, because of COVID, Xbox was prepared, Sony was not. I don't care what anybody says about console sales. It was like Xbox was ready for that to happen. And then even though it delayed a lot of things on both sides and for everybody, Xbox was able to come out of it. Yes, we did have that one down year, you know, where we were promised a lot and then nothing ended up happening and blah, blah, blah. But now here we are, right? But Xbox was able to recover from that and then go forward with an ABK deal. PlayStation is just been going down like the whole time.
It goes back to they have no identity.
Yeah, and to me, like, if I could say anything, like, because I don't want to bash on the brand so much, it's when I go to Xbox, despite whatever goes wrong, I feel like I'm being greeted with a fat ass hug. I feel like their brand cares about me, even if it's just for the money. You can say what you want, but I feel like their brand cares about me as a consumer of their brand. If PlayStation could just give me that same feeling and stop doing this money grabbing shit left and right, and then trying to disguise it by other money grabbing shit left and right, and then stop doing this these types of stupid debacles where I feel like none of your levels of management are talking to each other, where with this Helldivers debacle and now this Ghost of Tsushima bullshit. It's like if you guys could really just think as one and start really thinking, like, even if you need to make your dollar, start thinking of, or at least acting like you're thinking about the consumer, like Xbox does. It would change everything. It would change everything.
And I don't know about you, but I felt like Sony appreciated me as a consumer last generation. And
they just wrapped you with a nice bow. That's all that was.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be as anti PlayStation as I am now. I don't even know if anti is the word for it, because I still support them. I'm still get their consoles and shit, just on my
true. Yeah, true.
You feel what I'm saying? When Xbox drop new games and hardware, I feel like I'm obligated to go play and support it, because, like you said, I feel loved, I feel appreciated, right?
Yeah.
PlayStation just rubbed me the wrong way multiple times, right? The fact that your PS5 was less powerful than the Series X off rip, I was like, okay. Not really full RDNA 2 like it should be. Like, there's a lot of features missing. I'm like, okay, cool. What really turned me away from Sony is when they hopped on the $70 train like that. And people don't realize that it's not the fact that they did it. I get it. You know, EA started it and Madden and all that. Okay, cool. That's all right. That's cute, whatever. But it's the fact that they did it in the middle of COVID.
Man.
When people were struggling the most.
That was such an ugly look.
Before I got my job in home healthcare, I was working at a restaurant, and it was a locally owned restaurant in Buffalo, New York, my hometown, and we had to close due to COVID, and it never recovered, so fully closed. So while I'm over here, you know, trying to figure out what's next in life, gaming is always here to help me cope and shit. You know, I got the Series S for $299. They giving me the cheapest entrance to true next gen gaming, right? Like I said, $299. That's huge. And then you giving me Game Pass on top of that, and then you not quick to hop on the $70 price tag, man. I just felt like that was a real slap to the face, and it's not because they did it; it's because you did it in the middle of a global pandemic where a lot of people are struggling, and you know, maybe people like, yo, that's the time to do it. You got to make your money, you got to make your profits. I get it, but me,
that was not the time. That was not the time.
That was not the time. Like, to where I was at in life, that was just like, it was like, yo, fuck you, Sony. That's just how I felt at the time, and I to this day, I just feel like, yo, fuck you, Sony. Like, and
Yeah.
I personally kept telling myself at the end of the PS4 generation, I said, yo, all these games shouldn't be dropping because there ain't no way they're gonna have enough games for the PS5. And I was right. Ghost of Tsushima should have been a PS5 launch title. Last of Us Part 2 should have been a PS5 title. You know, because they kind of rushed them games. If you remember, them games came out relatively like back to back. It felt like they was just back to back nonstop.
They hit
Death
heavies
Stranding,
as hard as they could.
Last of Us Part 2. Yeah, they went out with a banger with the PS4 Pro. And this might be what they're doing with the PS5 as well. The back end of the PS5 life cycle, we might get a Last of Us Part 3 and I don't fucking know what else they got really. Like,
yeah, but it's like
they
at this point, and I understand what happened with the previous generation for PlayStation, but at this point with the PS5 or PS5 Pro, it's like you really got to drop some bangers that you had out of nowhere because like, or else it's just a system and maybe some updated games.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, you can just get those games on PC and update your own system. You know, you can play on Xbox and, you know, whoop-de-doo, whatever. Like, it's all timing, and I'm not saying that PlayStation can't end the generation strong, quote unquote, but it's like at this point, what are you dropping with the PS5 Pro? When is your next big showcase? What is your roadmap? Do you even have one? You know, we're inching way too close to the next generation. Xbox about to drop a handheld because I can't name one person that doesn't believe that this ain't coming. Like, you know, Xbox has their foot on their neck, as King would say, and they are not letting off. And I don't think for the rest of this generation, PlayStation has enough strength to push up from out of that boot right now.
Yeah.
Can they start the next generation strong and turn that around? Yeah. But I said this 2 or 3 years ago, and people called me crazy, whichever community I said it to. But I said, I think PlayStation has really lost this generation. I don't care what they do in the back half. I really feel like they've lost this generation at this point.
Yeah, from a gamer perspective, how can you not feel that way? Man. I feel like as a true gamer, like even if I was the most hardcore pony, right? Like at some point when you put Twitter down and stop fiddling your thumbs around, right? And you go from a gamer perspective, how can you not? Like most of the games you guys brag on is third party fucking timed exclusive. You know, Rise of Ronin, Stellar Blade, Final Fantasy, those are not first party games.
Yeah.
Like let's talk about the first party output of games, you know, or having a roadmap and shit like that. Like we know a PS6 is coming, but we got our next generation of Xbox confirmed.
Yeah.
You know, we got confirmed that the next generation of Xbox is going to be fully backwards compatibility, like all around the board. That's another thing that turned me off with Sony. I get it. You know, you talk about the PS3 with its cell processor and shit like that. That's the reason they hide behind, you know, having poor backwards compatibility. But I just feel like, bro, you're fucking Sony. Figure it out. You know, like come the fuck on, bro. You know, you gotta stream your old library of games and shit. Like that's just not. It's just so many things that's red flags from Sony, and that's why I hate that they fans don't demand better. Like y'all told us to demand better, and we got Bethesda. Then you told us to demand better even more. We got Activision.
Like imagine,
I don't hear that demand better shit anymore.
Like imagine demanding better
one
from
narrative
PlayStation.
To the motherfucker shut the fuck up about.
But like,
tell us to demand better again, so we can go get Capcom or something. You feel what I'm saying? Sega, like, you feel what I'm saying? So.
But like, imagine demanding better.
I don't know, man. I agree with you. I think this generation is lost already because it's like, what game can Sony put out that's gonna really be like, wow? Because in my opinion, we got WoW games already, and you call me biased or whatever. We got Starfield. It's nothing like Starfield on PlayStation from their first party studios. They can't make a big ass open world RPG. They just can't fucking do it. They don't have the talent. They don't have.
Oop.
Did we lose him?
Because as he was talking, I don't think he was hearing me. So I think because his camera froze.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, I think there's some validity to to this conversation, right? Of like, man, like PlayStation's having a really bad year in a lot of different ways. Like they're also seeing a ton of layoffs. They have no single party or not single player first party games coming out this entire year. The rumor is that they're supposed to have a showcase like alongside one of their other like business things later this month. I don't know how much I believe that. They did it last year, but I guess we'll see. They need to be announcing some things really soon, just to get people excited. Like if they're planning on having the PS5 Pro come out anytime soon, then yeah, they need to be announcing something to come alongside it. And even if not, like the way their stocks are looking right now, I wouldn't be surprised if they start announcing stuff that's like 5-6 years away, just to give the shareholders something to be like, we got this, we promise, there's more things coming. So yeah, I do think that they'll probably, honestly, I think this year they'll probably have a huge showcase, and then we won't see a lot of it for a long time.
Yeah.
And so it is going to become that thing where we're going to hear people like, I don't know, let's say they announce the next like Last of Us Part 3 or something, which I don't know, we'll see. But let's pretend that they announced that, right? It won't be out for like another 5 years at least, and we'll have to we'll be hearing about it from people on Twitter like, yeah, but when is Xbox gonna have their Last of Us 3? And I'm like, when's PlayStation's gonna have their last? It's coming, I guess. You know,
the constant back and forth. Yeah.
It really is gonna turn to that thing where like, because people used to get on to Xbox people for forever about like, oh, they just keep saying wait until E3, and I'm like, yeah, well, it's because they still have a showcase, so it's like they have something to look forward to.
G maybe said in the chat, 2 CEOs could be problematic without a roadmap. Who's steering the ship and who is navigating? Now I know each CEO has like a specific directive that they're overseeing and taking control of, but at the same time it's like, is this still a case of too many cooks in the kitchen for Sony? I mean, I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to cover all bases on being able to rebuild their brand up to where it was, but at the same time it's like, is this a proper direction for them? So
I also don't know that, because they do call themselves the CEOs. PlayStation calls a lot of things that they're not, but they're calling both of these guys CEOs, and it's like
Portal, best game
that's not the case. Like there's one person who's in charge of all of Sony, and that's the CEO. You can't be the CEO of like PlayStation first party. That's not what that word means. Like you'd be the president of it, I guess. But like you can't be the CEO and still have Hiroki Totoki above you. Like I don't think that makes sense. I don't know. I didn't go to business school, but I'm pretty sure that's not how that works.
It's an interesting dynamic / conundrum to witness right now, but we'll see where it goes as far as PlayStation is concerned. But as far as Xbox is concerned, let's segue into our last topic for the evening. We have some new Game Pass games arriving, some of which already have, and it is a packed list of games, I must say, especially since one of them just recently dropped that everybody is looking forward to. I know, being Hellblade 2 Senua's Saga. That did just drop, right? I'm not mistaken. Right?
No, that's dropping Tuesday.
Oh, sorry, Tuesday. My bad. I don't know why I thought that was right now. But this is a great list of games, and just further confirms, everything we were saying about
Boys of the Fallen, baby.
Yeah, it further confirms, how we feel about the other side, and why we just wish they would, pick it up a notch or two. But let's start with the games that are listed here, coming soon, or if not already there on Xbox Game Pass. Coming to cloud, console, and PC, we have Chance of Sennaar, Haunty, Humanity. If I butcher some of these names, apologies. Humanity is finally coming.
A former PlayStation exclusive, by the way.
Ooh. Moving Out 2, Rolling Hills. Coming to cloud, PC, and Xbox Series X and S, we have Galacticare, Immortals of Avium, the one that I've been looking forward to as well as Nero, Lords of the Fallen, and I'm sure Daniel McGee as well. As I said previously before, Okay, damn it. As I said previously before, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 and Firework is coming to PC, and coming to cloud, because I believe it was available on console, is NHL 24. I know a good friend of mine in Discord who's, would be excited for that one. So, with this list of games being announced, for me myself, I am excited for Hellblade 2, Lords of the Fallen, obviously, Mortals of Avium. That's a nice grab. It wasn't something that I tried before, but I might dive into it now because of Game Pass and whatnot. Galacticare, I'm not really too familiar with. Rolling Hills, as same as well, but judging by the thumbnail of the game, I will give it a look at, and it might be a good game, say for my daughters and whatnot. You have Moving Out 2, not my cup of tea, but I know it is a good game. I know a few friends that enjoy it. Humanity, that is a game that I didn't play too much of, but I do think it is a good game, so please give that a try. And Haunty and Chance of Sonar, or Saint, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Two games I'm not very familiar with, but that's the beauty of Game Pass. It allows you to just try and test these games when you're unfamiliar, and take a quick look at them, and then demo them out and whatnot. NHL 24, not my cup of tea, but I know a few people who are excited for that. So to see it to come to the cloud and not just be on console is amazing. So with that being said, Daniel McGee, sir,
Yeah.
out of this bunch of games, what stands out as far as being notable to you, and are you excited for any of these games coming to Game Pass?
Definitely Hellblade. That's the big one. I'm not going to be able to play it day one because it comes out, I think, if I remember right, it's like the 21st or something. Like, it comes out the day before.
Next Tuesday.
Yeah,
yes,
so the
next
21st.
Tuesday. Yes.
So it comes out like the day before I go on a 2-week vacation. I just don't want to start it and then leave.
Yes. And then
so,
play it on vacation because of the cloud, baby.
I mean, I guess I'm going international, so I don't know how much like internet access I'll have.
Oh, true, yeah.
But either way, so I'll play that when I get back. So it'll be a really good weekend for me because I'm going to go on vacation for 2 weeks, and then I come back on the 7th, and then the showcase is on the 9th. So I'll play it like the 7th and 8th. It's apparently pretty short, so I'll probably finish it in that time, and then showcase on the 9th. So it's going to be a good time for me. I'm looking forward to that. That's really the only one that I'm like excited for. I'll probably give Humanity a shot because I know that that's a cute little puzzle game that reviewed pretty well, so I'm interested in that. Lords of the Fallen, I respect that a lot of people are really interested in that. I unfortunately played the first one and it was dog shit. So I'm not that like, I have zero faith in that studio. Maybe I'll give it a shot just because it's free. So like I'll give it a shot and see if it's good, but I'm not gonna hold myself accountable to finishing it. And then everything else in here, I either don't know what it is, like I don't know what Fireworks or Haunty or Rolling Hills, like I don't know what most of those are. So maybe I'll look at them while they're in there and see if like any of them strike my fancy at the time.
Yeah, same.
But I think it's pretty much just that. Like I'm definitely playing Hellblade. I'll probably play Humanity, and I might scroll past Lords of the Fallen and be like, is this something I want to do right now?
No, I feel you. And Firework, I'm not too familiar with either. G maybe says that Chance of Sonar is actually already out, so I will give that a look after the stream. But there was another post that had the dates listed of when all the games release. I don't have that in front of me at the moment, but I just kind of hate the fact that Lords of the Fallen isn't until the 30th. I want that now because I do want to try it.
I want that now, bro.
Man, but they do that. The sometimes the bigger games out of the bunch, they like to hold off till towards the end, of the releases. And to be honest with you, because it's Game Pass, I don't know if that really is like if that's a strategy that really matters. But if it's something that they feel works and creates,
I just feel like you can't have too much stuff stepping on each other's feet.
No, that's true. That's true.
You had Jedi Survivor launch earlier this month.
That is true.
Having Jedi Survivor, Lords of the Fallen, and Hellblade 2 is like, can everybody get their shine? And which I would argue, like you said, with Game Pass, I would say yes. Because you just said it with Game Pass, I would argue yes. You can drop 30 great games in Game Pass day one. It's gonna be a fan base and a crowd for each one of those games. But
yeah, for sure.
I think the best thing about I think that's a thing. I think a lot of devs appreciate this about Game Pass as well, and why they be so, happy to put their games in there for the most part is you do get that. You get that advertisement. You know,
Yeah,
now
like
that
that
you
slot
know,
to yourself. Yeah.
yeah, you
Yeah.
got that slot. You got it's pretty much like your game is launching, getting a soft relaunch. And Lords of the Fallen, I'm really excited for that as well, Dusty, because that game it's a UE5 game and it didn't launch to the best reception. It was buggy, it was fucked up. But I do recommend you guys go check out that dev diary of the 1.3 update. It's a huge update. They're literally overhauling the game, kind of like what Cyberpunk did, right? They overhauling the game because I feel like it was a good core and good core mechanics there. But you know, it's like I'm kind of like with Daniel on it. It's like, you know, I was like, I really could like care less, but
Yeah.
that like them dev diaries turn me around every time, man. Like the Diablo dev diaries when they do their round tables, even 343, man. Even though they frustrating me, like they get it together. I don't like how y'all doing Halo, man. But um, those dev diaries will turn your mind around, man. When you see that passion, when you see that care, and you know when you do accept like the devs that is sitting in front of these cameras and talking, they don't have no say so if the game launch a year before it should launch or not. You know, they just get told this date, do their job, and do the shit best of their ability. I'm not excusing them. You feel what I'm saying? Because I feel like it is all around the fingers to be pointed at everyone. You feel what I'm saying? But less fingers should be pointed at the people that's actually behind these computers, you know, doing the work and shit. And more fingers should be pointed at the devs and the shareholders and people like that that need to hit these metrics and these numbers and shit. So I'm definitely excited for Lords of the Fallen, Humanity. Definitely excited for that. That was one of the PlayStation games. I was like, that looked dope. I'm super excited for Hellblade too, man. Like I'm stoked, bro. And then you got to realize, like, all this shit leads us into the showcase. By the time you finish Hellblade, right? By the time Diablo not going nowhere for the whole season, but by the time you finish Hellblade, by the time you get halfway through Lords of the Fallen, boom, you got this showcase. And I said it on the Aim Down Sights podcast. I want to say it here too, Dusty. I think I'm not sure about all of the Call of Duties, right? But I definitely think Modern Warfare 2 stealth drops in the Game Pass after the showcase. I think they announced the new Black Ops game day one of Game Pass. That's the whole reason they got that little, you know, like how they had the Bethesda little showcase thing after the main. This time it's gonna be Activision, and it would be dope if they bounce back and forth each year doing that, right? Like next year you got Bethesda having their own dedicated, maybe showing off Elder Scrolls and you know maybe some Fallout type shit or remakes or remasters, and then the next, you know, when you got Call of Duty and shit like that. Hopefully the ideal situation for me personally is be a 3-hour showcase every year. Xbox Game Studios, Bethesda maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and then Activision maybe 35, 45 minutes. I think that would be dope. But I definitely think Modern Warfare 2, or no, it's 3. 3 is the latest one, right? I don't know why I keep saying 2.
3.
I think Modern Warfare 3 stuff drops in the Game Pass. The reason I think all of the CODs haven't dropped yet is because them servers is about to get smacked.
Yeah,
I
don't know if
that's
all CODs are gonna drop the same day.
that's
You know,
I don't
that's
think
way
that's
too
gonna
much.
happen.
But I
know,
do see,
and then I do see FPS boost being a thing too with a lot of these cards. I think a lot of these cards will be running at 120 when it's all said and done as well.
I do see where we have like weeks in a row of drops of COD games and whatnot, but all of them dropping at the same time, I don't know. However, I wouldn't put it past Microsoft to be like, here you go, have at it. But speaking of drops,
is it enough Call of Duties to do a drop a week until the new COD? That might be a stretch from June until November.
That would be, I mean, you could do it, but I mean, would that type of strategy get soft after a while, you know?
Right.
But as I was saying, speaking of drops, Poison actually DM'd me and sent me the dates for the Game Pass games, so let me go through them really quick. Today was Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, or that was yesterday actually. Today is Chance of Sonar. Tomorrow,
it's not a remake. You don't want that shit. I'm sorry.
Tomorrow, the 16th, will be Immortals of Avium. The 21st is Senua's Saga's Hellblade 2. The 23rd will be Galacticare and Haunty. The 28th will be Moving Out 2. And on the 30th will be Humanity, Lords of the Fallen. And Next month, June 4th, will be Firework and Rolling Hills, because towards the the second half of the month of games, or sometimes they like to announce a few games that are trickling into the next month. So those are the dates for the Game Pass games that were recently announced. As we said, we are, two of us are excited for Lords of the Fallen. One of us could care less, but might check it out anyways. All of us are excited for Hellblade 2. I am excited to finally check out Immortals of Avium. I think that should be an interesting
man,
look.
I'm about to ruin your fucking parade. Restree's not in here. Okay, he's probably asleep. Fucking garbage.
Garbage,
Fucking
garbage.
trash. Like if you watch the reviews on my channel, rarely do I just shit on a game, right? Rarely do I just sit around and just say, "Yo, this game is ass," or like, could I do that shit? Yes.
Yes.
Negativity bring more clout, attention, and shit like that. Mortals of Avium, extremely disappointing game. Extremely disappointing game. But it's not like terrible. It's not horror. Like, it's not to the point where
Forspoken or Immortals.
Ooh, Immortals.
Okay.
And that's not even me being an Xbox fan. Like, that's just like, it's not a horrible game. It's just you shrug on it. And this is coming from a guy. I got the Ultimate Edition for $4 on sale. I think it was a glitch. Me and my homie Reese. It wasn't supposed to be that low. It was that low for like maybe 40 minutes before they fixed it. I got that shit for a glitch. Xbox didn't want their money back. They could have gave me my $4 back, truth be told. Like, they could have said, "Hey, this is a mistake," like they did with the James Bond series a couple weeks ago. They could have did that with me. I would not have been mad. Like, they got me. You caught me. But man, I'm holding off because Mortals of Avium, guys, is going to be one of the first games on consoles to support FSR3 and frame generation.
Ooh,
and they already confirmed that's coming in a patch. So I'm trying to hold off since I own it. I'm not going to jump into the Game Pass hype. I'm going to hold off and see, because I mean, it's just, I guess I was so disappointed in it because it's a UE5 game, right? And that's what a lot of these UE5 games, they main talking point, am I wrong? They main talking point be UE5. Whenever it's a UE5 game, that's what they hide behind. It's Unreal Engine 5, the new Unreal Engine. And then the shit dropped and it got poor frame pacing. It's juddery. It's blurry. Like, my biggest critique with that game is it's blurry. It don't have visual settings. It's fucking blurry. Like, I don't know what internal resolution they're using to upscale with the FSR2 that they're using, but it's just like, it just feels off, man. Like, a lot of shit about that game just feels off. But I will say, and then like some of the characters is kind of cringy as well in there. I'm like, not really sure how I feel about this person. Like, this fake ass Abby from Last of Us. Like, she's not really like, your personality is you're just a big woman. Like, not like really entertaining, no cool voice acting, like nothing to really draw you in and lock you into those characters, man. So that's my critiques. But look, man, that's the best thing about Game Pass. You don't got to pay a fucking thing, so you get to try it out. We might have completely, you might end up DMing me like, "Yo, Nero, I don't understand what you talk. I love Immortals of Avium." I might block your ass then and there, but
I am never coming back on this show.
Hey, like that game. Like, I am banned, man. Like, yo, G-Wave, I don't know what they got going on over there, man. Like, Dusty is delusional. Nah, but I mean, like I said, man, it's different strokes for different folks. And I do see a lot of people on Twitter excited to try Immortals of Avium, man. And that's another reason why I love Game Pass. It's very fucking dope. Like, people get to play things that they normally wouldn't buy. Like, if you spending money on it, I would say, yo, don't buy it. But if you get in Game Pass, hell yeah, check it out, man. What would it hurt?
True.
Besides your time that you can't get back.
Well, I'll just fall back to playing Rolling Hills. But hey, that actually looks like a fun game. So who knows? I'm gonna check it out on YouTube, see what it's about. So that'll do it actually for this show. Unless anybody has any final thoughts, Daniel, Nero.
No, I was looking up gameplay for some of these smaller games, and I'm definitely not touching Chance of Sinner. That's all I got right now.
Fair enough.
Definitely not touching that one.
Well, if that'll be all from everyone, I just want to say thank you to my two very special guests for joining me this evening on a great discussion of gaming, where we just completely forgone the rest of the show and just kept it going. And I am completely fine with that. It is no problem at all. I just want to say thank you to everyone in the chat for being here. Shout out to all the mods for being here as well. G maybe Poison Maniac, much love to you, brothers. Always good seeing you. Shout out to who else was here? Xbox Reforged. That's my brother Game Tech Planet GTP up in this thing. Make sure you check him out every Thursday morning for your latest GeForce Now news. He has a new channel for that. I think it's called GeForce Now Nation or GeForce Nation. Leave it in the chat if you're still here, GTP, so everybody can know. I do try to stay up to date with his videos every morning. RSJ fan, thank you so much for being here. Shout out to Game Pass Daily, Legendary Yobi. Always a good time having you in the chat. FarQ,
Shout
I know
out
you
my
were here
homie
for a
Lyric.
while.
Appreciate
Yeah,
you.
shout out to Lyric Da Vinci. Saw you in the chat as well. Infinite Umbra, brother. Always a good time having you here. Need to get you on the show. We'll figure that out. OG Newbie, got you in the chat. Saw you there earlier. Richter Smith, that's my big bro from my dancer life. So, you know, he knows me very well. Always a good time to see you, fam. Dreadful.
Make sure you shout yourself out too when it's all said and done too, Dusty. I love what you're doing here, man. And shout out to Daniel, bro. It was a pleasure to meet you and chat with you, homie.
Yeah,
For
likewise.
sure. I definitely would be supporting y'all, period, going forward.
Hell
man.
yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Shout out to Dreadpool, the big brother, for being here. Need to get you back on the show as well. And yeah, just everybody else for, you know, supporting the channel. You know, hit subscribe. We got that $10 super chat earlier. Thank you so much for that one. Who was that? Can I scroll back up to it? Sigma Prime, thank you so much for that, you know, generous donation. Shout out to you. IGN definitely is trash. Stop supporting them.
Mhm.
And X-Men episode 10 as well as X-Men 97 itself. I will be back tomorrow evening, 7:30 p.m. to discuss X-Men 97, not only the finale, but season 1 in itself, and where do we go here to season 2, aka season 6, I believe, in the overall animated series. So please join me tomorrow evening for that. And if you have not seen it yet, do not be here for spoilers. I know some of you say you don't care about spoilers, but trust me, for this piece of Marvel content, you'll thank me later. So without further ado, Nero, please let everyone know where they can find you on the interwebs.
Just like what you see on the screen, just Next Gen Nero, all one word, NEXTGENNERO. I'm single-handedly, well, not single-handedly, because we a good army, we a good crew, but I'm definitely fighting the biased, corrupt gaming media and their hidden agendas behind these gaming reviews and gamer critiques and shit like that. So yeah, I'm fighting that, and just so people know, when I say fuck IGN, it's not just from an Xbox perspective, it's from a gaming as a whole perspective, because you know IGN was one of the front runners of shitting on Days Gone, and one of the reasons of doing that was because he was a white biker. So you're mad that a white biker in Oregon, you act like the motherfucker is in Compton. You act like he's a white biker from Compton or fucking Harlem or some shit like that. So it's just stupid agendas like that ruin and take away from what a great game is or what a good game is because you want to push certain bullshit. So yeah, man, fuck IGN, fuck Kotaku, fuck all of them, man. Next Gen Nero, NGN over IGN.
Yeah. And to my other guest this evening, please, Mr. Daniel J. McG, let everyone know where they can find you, good sir, and soak in some of your appreciative opinions on the gaming industry.
Yeah, for sure. You can find me on Twitter at Daniel J. McG or on my YouTube channel, Daniel McG, or tomorrow night, every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central, not 7 p.m. Pacific. Apparently, I'm really bad at time zones, I found out today. But 7 p.m. Central every single Thursday night on Infinite Umber's channel for The Fix.
Awesome. Well, since that's all for this episode of G-Wave TV, I just want to say once again, thank you so much for everyone being here. Please have a great rest of your night and the great rest of your week. Enjoy the weekend. Crack open a beer for me. Cheers up to the stars and look beyond the moon. Chase your dreams. Have a great time. And as always, like I like to say, whether you're catching the replay or you're catching the live, you know the vibe. Hit subscribe, give a like, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace, everybody.
See you.
Peace.